Part 8. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 71. Shang Yuna is very mature, her hot body is like a peach. She has also imagined the feeling of doing that with a man many times. Shang Yuna wanted to go back to her bedroom, but she sat on the sofa in the living room. I fantasized while listening to this thrilling voice. In the fantasy, her Prince Charming appeared, a tall and handsome man who drove a Cadillac. In the fantasy, the man knelt down in front of her on one leg, put an emerald diamond ring on her finger, and said to her, "Yuna, I love you." In the fantasy, she wore a pink and white wedding dress, and entered the palace of marriage with that handsome man with rich gold. The wedding was held in a super 5-star hotel, and many guests were blessing them with envious eyes. In the fantasy, the man and her were exercising happily. The intoxicated voice was made by Lin Feng and her sister, but Shang Yuna felt that it was the voice made by her and that handsome guy with a lot of money. It wasn't until Lin Feng and Shang Yunjuan walked out of the bedroom that Shang Yuna woke up from her fantasy and shouted, "Why are you two?" Then she grabbed the teacup and threw it at Lin Feng. The tea roots and tea leaves fell to the ground while flying, but the teacup was caught by Lin Feng. Lin Feng came over, put the teacup on the coffee table, and said with a smile, "Where did you come from so much righteous indignation? It was me and your sister just now." "It's normal, if it's me and you, then it's not normal." "Sister, he bullied me, you beat him." "Okay, Yun Na, don't lose your temper, Lin Feng didn't do much," Shang Yunjuan said. Shang Yuna thought to herself, "He had been on you for a long time, so hard, but you said that he didn't do much." Shang Yuna didn't attack Shang Yunjuan with malicious words. She snorted coldly and went back to her room. "I'm sorry, Lin Feng, I didn't expect Yun Na to be so angry with you. It's not the first time that she has lost her temper with me, and I won't take it to heart," Lin Feng said in his heart. "Always encountering poisonous things, he will produce antibodies. I haven't had any vaccinations, but my immunity power is very strong." Lin Feng finally returned to his partition room and hurriedly lay down on the bed. He planned to sleep for more than an hour, then went out for a while, and hurried to code after dinner. It was 7 o'clock in the evening when he woke up. Lin Feng shouted his guilt in his heart, ran out quickly, and came back after dinner to check the time. It was past 8 o'clock. "It's so late anyway." Lin Feng plans to start coding from 9 o'clock, so that he can write more than 10,000 words until 1 o'clock in the morning. Lin Feng's typing speed is very fast. The speed of coding will not be so fast. He wants to write in more detail. Watering is not his style. While browsing the web, Lin Feng lit a cigar that Bai Shan had stolen from Ye Qingchen's villa, and let out a breath of smoke leisurely. When smoking a cigar, Lin Feng thought of Bai Shan again. This is a woman who can always make him feel strange. She made him feel good, gave him delicious food, and gave him good cigarettes. Bai Shan seems to be very good at it. He considers. But now Lin Feng thinks more about what will happen to Bai Shan, who made a fortune by being a lover for a man, or what will happen to her if she can't use the fate to describe her. Lin Feng hoped that Bai Shan would be more restrained, don't come to him again in the future, just earn money by Ye Qingchen's side, it's safer for her. Lin Feng hopes that Bai Shan will have a happy future. The man who married her does not know what she has done in the past. Lin Feng didn't smoke the cigar several times, but finished it all at once. After brewing for a while, he started typing on the keyboard. Lin Feng's heart is flying. The plot is flying with his heart. Lin Feng wrote 2 passages that he was very satisfied with. I believe his readers will also like it. Lin Feng stopped to read the 2 passages, and the corner of his mouth showed the happy smile that his creation brought him. This is his happiness. Others may not see his smile, but he is indeed very happy. When he wrote almost 3,000 words, the door of the partition room opened, his face immediately changed color, and the person who came in turned out to be Ye Ye. Lin Feng's joy disappeared immediately, and he had a premonition that something was going to happen. There was an icy smile on Yezi's beautiful face, a look of unkindness, apparently coming to trouble him. Yezi's background is deep, and she knows Li Zingguo, so it's not surprising to know that he lives here, but how did Yezi come in? How did she open the door and the door? Leaf, why are you here? I came to you, and you weren't afraid at all? I just saw surprise on your face, but didn't see fear. Yeah, what did you mean just now? I don't understand, Lin Feng said. This cigar smells really good. I'm afraid it was given to you by Bai Shan. It's my dad's Havana cigar. You are a very good writer. You can't even make 10,000 yuan a month. Expensive cigars that only rich people live to enjoy. Yezi sat on the chair and stared closely at Lin Feng's face. Even though Lin Feng's psychological quality was very good, Yezi's sudden attack made him panic. He didn't know how embarrassed his expression was at this time. Looks like you already know. I saw her coming to you when Bai Shan brought you a cigar. I just didn't arrest the two of you, because I didn't want to see the ugly appearance of you exerting force on her body. Bai Shan and I haven't done anything. Before Bai Shan became Dabing's lover, you had that kind of relationship with her. After Bai Shan became my dad's lover, you still maintain that kind of relationship with her. How dare you say that you have nothing to do with her? Didn't you do it? Yaya was aggressive. It seemed that she had understood it very well during this time. Lin Feng was even more embarrassed. Lin Feng didn't know what to do. He whispered, Yezi, can you keep it a secret? Don't let your dad know. Drive away Bai Shan. Bai Shan is actually a very poor woman. After all, she is not your father's wife. Let her go. If your attitude just now was sincere, if you can kneel on the ground and beg me now, maybe I will keep it a secret. I will beat Bai Shan hard, and then don't tell my dad about you and her, or you will die. My dad will kill you. Hearing the word death, Lin Feng was not afraid anymore. His heart was very desolate, and he felt that death was far away from him. Although he swims very well, he never swims in the wild. He is very afraid that the water plants will entangle him, and he is very afraid that he will get caught in the quagmire and cannot get up. Although he is agile, he always looks around to check the speed of the car when crossing the road, to ensure that the passing vehicles will not hit him, and then he will take a step. He lived very cautiously, because he wanted to live for many years, but now, Yaya proposed death to him, as if his life and death were in the hands of Yaya and Yeching Chen. You want me to kneel down and beg you? I've changed my mind again now. You can't just kneel. Kneel down and slap yourself 10 times, and then drill through between my legs. Yezi was wearing black tights. At this moment, her body was exuding the scent of Divan's perfume, but Lin Feng didn't want to get through between her slender legs. Fuck her while you live, forget it if you die. Lin Feng sneered, I don't really want to get through your legs, but I really want to put my hand in your panties. Who are you scaring? You can do whatever you like. Leaf was surprised. She thought that Lin Feng would do as she said, and then she would despise Lin Feng deeply. But Lin Feng is not afraid anymore, definitely not because this kid is too afraid, but because he is a very courageous person. You come with me. Go to your villa. No, Yezi, I said, if you want peace, follow me. If you don't cooperate at all, then you will die. Lin Feng could only close the document and the computer, then left the partition room with Yaya, and walked to the street. Lin Feng saw a Land Rover parked dozens of meters away, which should be Yaya's car. Lin Feng and Yezi sat in the back of the Land Rover together. The driver was a mixed-race beauty. Her beauty was shocking. Her long hair was black, but she had blue eyes. Although she was sitting in the car, but it is still easy to see that her figure is extremely hot. Did she help you open the door to the house just now? Lin Feng said. It's her. Her name is Hong Ying. She is a mixed-race woman from Vietnam. You kid likes beautiful women. Maybe Hongying is your thing, but your virtue is not her thing, Ye Zi said. She also knows about me and Bai Shan. No. Where do you want to take me? Jingguo Center, Ye Zi said. Lin Feng is not so worried anymore. He was afraid that Ye Zi and Hongying would take him to the suburbs and shoot him to death. Lin Feng felt that Ye and Hongying had guns on their bodies at this time. The Jinwu Center has arrived. When Lin Feng appeared with Ye Zi and Hongying, Li Xingguo was very surprised. His father had already returned from other places, and he was also very surprised to see the situation. If it wasn't to clean up people, Ye would usually not appear with Hongying. Hongying was Ye's bodyguard, but she usually protected Ye in the dark. Li Xingguo already regarded Lin Feng as a friend. Seeing this kind of battle, he immediately broke into a cold sweat. Although Lin Feng's kung fu was very high, Li Xingguo did not think that Lin Feng could beat Red Shadow. Although Li Yang saw Lin Feng for the first time, he didn't want Lin Feng to be seriously injured or killed by Hongying. Ye Zi, what's going on? Lin Feng offended you? Li Yang laughed. Uncle Li, this is a matter between me and Lin Feng, you don't need to worry about it, we are just borrowing you to compete here, you won't have any opinions, right? Ye Zi smiled. Li Yang couldn't continue to say anything. In fact, Li Xingguo wanted to plead for Lin Feng, but he knew that his face was not big enough, so he made a wink to let his father speak, but he didn't expect that Ye would still not give face. Lin Feng must have offended Ye, and he didn't know what Lin Feng did to Ye. Li Xingguo was very puzzled and wanted to help Lin Feng, but he was obviously powerless. Lin Feng, you can use all your abilities. If you can defeat Hongying, it is your destiny. If you can't defeat her, you will be very sad, Ye Zi said. Lin Feng didn't expect that all this would fall on his head, and he was about to enter the ring with Hongying, a woman he didn't know at all, but he was still very confused. There was no way out, he could only bite the bullet and go on. He had reminded Bai Shan many times that maintaining such an unclear relationship would cause problems, but Bai Shan didn't listen to him, perhaps because Bai Shan so obsessed with him. Lin Feng and Hongying boarded the ring, and Ye, Li Yang, and Li Xingguo all sat on the chairs under the ring. Leave, what is this? Shut up. Before Li Xingguo could finish speaking, Ye asked him to shut up, and he could only swallow the second half of the sentence. Li Xingguo thought, Ye Zi, it's too scary for you to be angry. Lin Feng couldn't have touched your chest and made you angry like this. Lin Feng has never fought with a Vietnamese before, not to mention Hongying is a very high-quality Vietnamese mixed-race beauty. She has both Yu and French blood on her body. With the whistling wind, Hongying's slender legs were raised, and he kicked Lin Feng's face with a swipe. The speed was too fast, and Lin Feng was a little flustered in his heart. Facing Hongying's sharp legs, he was even more flustered. The moment he panicked and dodged, Lin Feng rolled to the ground. Hongying rushed over and kicked one foot after another in the direction of Lin Feng's tumbling. Lin Feng tumbled quickly and did not let Hongying, who was wearing high leather boots, kick him, otherwise he would be seriously injured. Seeing Lin Feng's embarrassed appearance, both Li Yang and Li Xingguo felt that Lin Feng was not Hongying's opponent at all, and it was not surprising that Hongying was originally an unfathomable top expert. As expected, Hongying is not only a top kung fu master, but also a top killer. If it is necessary for her to commit an assassination, she will be very sharp. There was a light smile at the corner of Ye Zi's mouth, no one knew what she was thinking right now. Lin Feng finally found an opportunity. When Hongying kicked him again, he hugged Hongying's calf and stood up. At that moment, Hongying's fist slammed towards his head. Come over. Lin Feng lifted Hongying's arm away, and hit Hongying's shoulder with an elbow. The moment Hongying dodged, he kicked over with a leg sweep. Lin Feng moved sideways and patted Hongying's leg away. The fight between Lin Feng and Hongying stopped for the time being. They were more than 3 meters away from each other, and they were all looking for opportunities to attack. Li Yang and Li Xingguo are not as worried as before. Lin Feng has not been seriously injured in the fight, which is enough to prove that he and Hong Ying have a fight, but they will continue to fight. It is still unknown who will win and who will lose. Welcome all book lovers to come and read, the latest, fastest and most popular serial works are all in Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 72. The moment Hong Ying's leg was raised, Lin Feng's leg was also raised, and the legs of the two collided. Lin Feng felt the pain, and Hong Ying also felt the pain, but both of them had strong fighting ability. In middle school, in order to improve his physical strength, Lin Feng also adopted other training methods when he practiced Kung Fu. At that time, he was so crazy about Kung Fu that even his father felt worried, but he did become a top class step by step. The Kung Fu Master. Being able to combine many classic moves from Dragon and Snake Legs with powerful moves from Sanda is enough to prove that Lin Feng is very talented in Kung Fu. Hong Ying has received mysterious devil-style training before, and her fighting skills are extremely strong. She is very good at beating people seriously or killing people. In addition, she is also proficient in hidden weapons. She is also a sharpshooter, but this is the arena of the Jinwu Center. She is unlikely to use hidden weapons to hurt Lin Feng, nor to shoot at Lin Feng. The moment Hong Ying quickly retracted her legs, she kicked out two more legs. Lin Feng avoided it. Hong Ying rushed forward with a punch. Lin Feng pushed her fist away and slapped her hard. Lin Feng's slap landed on Hong Ying's face, making a snapping sound, and Hong Ying's nosebleed splashed out. Bang bang. Lin Feng threw out two more punches, both of which hit Hong Ying's stomach. Hong Ying fell to the ground and stood up again in an instant, still more than 3 meters away from Lin Feng. Lin Feng had no obvious signs of injury, but Hong Ying's nosebleed was still flowing, which was caused by Lin Feng's slap in the face. At that time, Li Yang and Li Xingguo were both stunned. Lin Feng seemed to be a little too violent, and actually slapped Hong Ying on the face, and the nosebleed Hong Ying did not change her face, but she didn't know what her anger had become. At that time, Ye's complexion also changed. Even if he stood on the ring and slapped his face, it should have been Hong Ying's fan that caused Lin Feng's nosebleed, not Lin Feng's fan who broke Hong Ying's nose. The Dragon and Snake Legs are definitely not a joke. Lin Feng began to take the initiative to attack, sweeping his legs several times in a row, flying like a giant dragon and circling like a long snake. While Hong Ying dodged, she stepped back, but her shoulder quickly took a leg and fell out again. Li Yang and Li Xingguo were even more excited, but Ye's face was even more ugly. Perhaps Hong Ying was not Lin Feng's opponent. Hong Ying stood up again, but her combat power had been weakened by more than half at this time, and she also realized that she was not Lin Feng's opponent, and it was impossible to defeat Lin Feng and beat Lin Feng to the extreme. Lin Feng shouted at Ye Zi, who was under the ring, Yeah, it's just a joke, don't take it too seriously. I don't think I need to beat her. If I beat her up, you won't be able to get her as a beautiful bodyguard. You won, Ye Zi said. Originally, Hong Ying still wanted to fight. How many years, the first time she lost such a big face, was slapped on the face, and her nosebleed was fanned out, but Ye had already ruled that Lin Feng won, and Hong Ying could only be very depressed. Off the ring. Lin Feng also walked down. No matter what he faced next, his footsteps at this time were very dashing. Lin Feng, we should go. When Ye Zi and Hong Ying left, they also called on Lin Feng, which left Li Yang and Li Xingguo at a loss as to what plane they were flying. Lin Feng's kung fu is too high, and his leg skills are too mysterious, Li Xingguo excitedly said. If my leg function is half of Lin Feng's, I will be satisfied. Don't dream, kid, do you know what Lin Feng's leg work is called? Say it and scare you to death. Dad, did you see the doorway? Yes, I can see it all. It seems to be the legendary Dragon and Snake Legs. I thought this kind of kung fu has been lost, but I didn't expect that there are still descendants, and it appeared in our Jinwu center. The dragon and snake legs are perfected like a giant dragon flying. The long snake is meandering, powerful, and extremely sturdy, as expected. Lin Feng, an online writer, is too incredible. He is a master with magical skills. What kind of novels does he write? It's better to rely on kung fu to eat. I have to persuade him later, Li Xingguo said excitedly. Lin Feng is not simple, and he is a very personable person, but I just don't know how he offended Ye Qingchen's daughter like this. Looking at the battle just now, Ye can't wait to let Hong Ying kill Lin Feng. I think Lin Feng must have eaten Ye Zi's tofu. This kid is too daring. Who is Ye? I have known Ye for so many years and have not dared to eat her tofu, but Lin Feng, he won't eat Ye. Let's see you. Li Xingguo's thoughts were hyped, and when Li Yang patted his head, he stopped talking nonsense. The night sky in Beijing was brightly lit, and the Land Rover was speeding. Although Hong Ying was injured, it did not affect her driving. At this time, the area around Hong Ying's nose was swollen, not as beautiful as usual. Yeah, we don't have to go for a ride on the ring road all the time. I have fought with Hong Ying. It is also a fact that she is not my opponent. What else do you think? To fight with bare hands and rely on kung fu, Hong Ying is indeed not your opponent. Your moves are very powerful, a bit like Sanda but a bit different, especially your leg skills, which are very sturdy. Yeah, thank you for your affirmation of my kung fu. Please let me go. I am really afraid of you. You are a rich lady, I am a poor boy. I am really afraid of you. You let me go. I will definitely be grateful to you. Many years from now I will think that there was a beautiful woman named Ye Zi who raised her hand to me. Lin Feng started to say good things. He was very afraid that this conflict would affect his future. You put a green hat on my dad. Do you think it's over? It seems that you're in a hurry, so I'll let you make a choice. You get beaten or Bai Shan gets beaten. Ye Zi said, if you don't care about Bai Shan, then you can get out of the car and leave. It's up to me what I'll make of Bai Shan. Exactly. Bai Shan is still in the Ye family's villa, although Ye Qingchen still doesn't know the inside story, but Ye already knows it very well. Lin Feng has no doubts that if Ye is fierce, it may break Bai Shan's arm and break his leg. If that's the case, Bai Shan will probably be disabled in the future. Although Bai Shan makes money by being a lover for men, she is a woman who loves beauty. Maybe it's not scary to lose her virginity, and maybe it's not scary to let men sleep a few more times, but it's terrible to be disabled. Maybe she will collapse and lose the courage to live, and then she will commit suicide. At that time, there will be no her in this world. Lin Feng doesn't love Bai Shan, but he doesn't want Bai Shan to disappear from this world. Although Bai Shan has always seduced him, he is not without responsibility. When Bai Shan wanted to sleep with him, he didn't. He kicked Bai Shan out of bed with one kick. When Bai Shan gave him good cigarettes, he did not throw the cigarettes from Bai Shan into the street. He never even scolded Bai Shan with vicious words. Bai Shan paused, then Bai Shan might not go to him. It was a woman who made him feel comfortable many times, and a woman who made him feel strange and warm. Lin Feng didn't want Ye to beat Bai Shan out. Don't hit Bai Shan, hit me. You can vent all your resentment against Bai Shan on me, Lin Feng said. Both Ye Zi and Hong Ying were stunned. Ye Zi quickly laughed in relief. It seems that you are not a person who shirks responsibility. Although I'm just an inexperienced lowercase writer, I still have to bear the responsibilities that I should bear. It's okay to beat me up any way you want, but there is one thing you must do. After you beat me, you can't hurt Bai Shan anymore. You can drive her away, but you can't hurt her life safety anymore, Lin Feng said. I promise you, but you have to think about one thing. I may make you disabled, Ye Zi said. Lin Feng was a little hesitant. He began to wonder, is the Leaf really that ruthless? Will Leaf really beat him to a disability? He quickly figured it out. If he felt Ye Zi's hand was so cruel to him, and he felt that he was about to become disabled, he would fight back. He would rather beat Ye Zi as a disability, and would not let Ye Zi beat him as a disability. If he really got to that point, he would just off and kill Ye Qingchen's daughter, and then Lao Tzu ran away, wherever he could. Run anywhere, run as long as you can. It is best not to develop to that step. Lin Feng intends to continue to seek leaves. If leaves can fully feel the sense of superiority, it may have a good effect. Yeah, I beg you, you are the rich lady, I'm just a lowercase writer, you raise your hand, don't hurt me, I still want to live well. Lin Feng, you bastard, you're scared now. When you did that to Bai Shan's body, you probably only care about the fun and forget about your fear. Yeah, let me give you a massage, I will make you very comfortable. Shut up for me, Ye Zi, I said coldly. Lin Feng was speechless. When he had with Bai Shan, he wasn't really scared. He was only a little worried when he calmed down after the sex. Now it seems that the previous worries are all necessary, something really happened, Ye found him. Hit me, Lin Feng said, after you hit me, don't be too Bai Shan. You can vent all your resentment against her on me. Lin Feng took the sin and he had to do it. Although Bai Shan was neither his girlfriend nor his lover, Bai Shan was the first woman he got a body, and Bai Shan's first times gave him. Do you want to fight here or do you choose a suitable place? Ye seemed to be reminding him of something. Lin Feng felt that it was necessary to choose a suitable place. Some places are suitable for being beaten, and some places are not suitable for being beaten. Where is the best fit? Of course, after he was beaten, someone could take care of him. Lin Feng thought of Shang Yunjuan and Wang Wei. These two people were the most suitable people to take care of him. If Shang Yunjuan was allowed to take care of him, then Shang Yuna would know that he was beaten and would despise him even more. Lin Feng didn't want to make his impression in Shang Yuna's heart worse. Lin Feng quickly ruled out the possibility of letting Shang Yunjuan take care of him, and Wang Wei was the most suitable. Why don't you just hit me near my college female classmate's house, you hit me hard, so I can let her take care of me, Lin Feng said. You are quite good at arranging, aren't you looking for a way back for yourself? Why didn't you think about it when you were sleeping with Bai Shan? Maybe it was because my mind was flooded at the time. I really shouldn't offend you nobles, Ye Zi, I'm very afraid of you. Lin Feng hoped that what he said just now would give Ye Zi a sense of accomplishment. As long as Ye didn't break his heart, he would not be cruel to Ye. If Ye was really killed, it would be very troublesome. Lin Feng prepared with both hands, the first is to be beaten, and the second is to kill the leaves and run away. The Land Rover off-road vehicle was speeding on the asphalt road, and it was getting closer and closer to the community where Wang Wei lived, but Lin Feng did not inform Wang Wei for the time being. He knew that Wang Wei's mobile phone was turned on 24 hours a day, even when it was charging, and so on. After he was beaten, it was easy to contact Wang Wei. Ye Zi's hand was a little itchy, and he said coldly, "How far is it?" "It'll be there in 5 minutes. "That's it, it's almost here, I can start the fight." Ye is really ruthless, slammed a fist into Lin Feng's chest. Although Ye is not Lin Feng's opponent, she is also a kung fu master. Her strength is much stronger than that of ordinary girls. This punch hit Lin Feng's chest, causing Lin Feng to scream in pain. In fact, Lin Feng didn't need to cry out, he could hold it back completely, but he just wanted to scream to let Ye Zi know that he was in pain, and it was easier for him to calm down. Bang bang bang. Ye Zi punched Lin Feng again, his chest, stomach, and his face. At this time, Lin Feng's face had already smashed Ye Zi, and blood flowed from his nose and mouth. The corners of Hong Ying's mouth showed a very special smile, as if she had reached in when she saw Lin Feng being beaten. "Miss, this kid's blood will stain your car, you might as well get out of the car and fight. If the car is dirty, Just wash it? You know, when I hit people, I get excited when I see blood. Now that I see the blood of this kid, I'm very excited. Ye Zi slammed Lin Feng's face with another punch, and Lin Feng turned into five-eyed blue. It seemed that Ye Zi's shot was very heavy. If he kept hitting like this, it would only be a matter of time before he became crippled. Lin Feng wanted to fight back. As long as he grabbed Ye Ye's neck and twisted it hard, Ye Ye's throat would be broken, and Ye Ye would die. If he wanted to run away, he had to kill Hong Ying by the way, so that with 2 lives on his body, even if the best lawyer can be hired in the future, it is unlikely to avoid death. Lin Feng intends to continue to endure, and the Land Rover off-road vehicle parked 20 meters away from the gate of Wang Wei's community. According to Lin Feng's intention, welcome readers to come and read the latest, fastest and hottest serial works all at. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 73. Ye Zi didn't plan to pull Lin Feng out of the car, but planned to hit him in the car. At this time, Ye Zi's fist had landed on Lin Feng's face 5 times, and Lin Feng's face was covered in blood. The pain with the spicy taste was naturally unbearable, but Lin Feng was able to bear it, but he deliberately made a terrible cry, but the people outside the car could not hear his cry. Bang bang bang. Ye Ye no longer attacked Lin Feng's face, but started to attack his chest, his waist and his legs. Ruthless. Also hot enough. Ye Ye is really good at fighting people. If a man who doesn't know how to kung fu falls in love with such a sturdy beauty, he will easily be beaten and disabled. But Lin Feng also felt it. Although he was beaten hard, Ye Ye wouldn't beat him to a crippled state. If he really wanted to kill him for some parts, he would start in a different way. At the same time, Lin Feng is also very fortunate that Ye Ye didn't continue to hit him in the face, otherwise he might lose his appearance. Although Lin Feng is not a handsome guy, his body is very burly, and he doesn't want to leave a scar on his face. What Lin Feng is most worried about now is that Ye Ye will attack his thing. If Ye Ye slams a punch or kicks his thing, then he will be crippled. Don't beat my eggs. Please, don't hit me. Lin Feng meditated in his heart, and at the same time hoped Ye Ye would stop soon. If Ye Ye became more and more excited after seeing the blood, he might be killed. Although he felt that Ye Zi was showing mercy, but Ye Ye may not be really merciful. Many people who thought they would not die died, and many people who thought they would die live. Ye Zi seemed to hear Lin Feng's silent voice in her heart, and her hand attacked Lin Feng's thing. Instead of punching it, she reached out and pinched it. Although Lin Feng was being beaten, his thing was still very tall and straight, and the moment Ye Ye pinched it, he sighed in his heart, thinking, that thing is really big enough, it seems that you really made Bai Shan comfortable. Ye Zi started to squeeze Lin Feng's thing with force. Ye Zi's hand could feel the shape of Lin Feng's thing more clearly, and the rich lady Ye Ye was even more shocked. When Ye Ye thought that it was Lin Feng's thing that gave her father a green hat, her hands became stronger, but Lin Feng was not worried that Ye Ye's soft hands could break his things. Miss, what are you doing? Hong Ying seemed to be intoxicated when she saw Ye Ye's hand was holding Lin Feng's thing. Ye Zi's hand bounced off instantly, and sneered, Hong Ying, didn't you see it? I want to break this kid's thing so that he can never harm women again. Hong Ying's expression is a little embarrassed, and she thought, my eldest lady, you are too cute, you can't pinch his thing like that, but it can make his thing very cool, but you may also be cool, you seem to be right. Lin Feng is very satisfied with the size. Does it hurt? Ye Zi said. It hurts to death, I made you seriously injured, I'm about to faint. Lin Feng coughed and spat out a mouthful of saliva. Ye Ye also felt that it was almost the same, and when he opened the door, he kicked Lin Feng down, and the Land Rover SUV drove away like a wind. Lin Feng's face hurts a lot, his chest hurts a lot, his legs hurt too, the nosebleed and the blood in his mouth are still flowing, but he is still far from being disabled. This injury will no longer be visible after a week of treatment. Rely on me. What happened to that person? It must have been beaten by people, and it turned out to be like that. We went over and asked him if we wanted to help him call the police. A few people came over. They were all young people, both men and women. They were all enthusiastic and ready to learn from Lei Feng at any time. There was a girl who looked a little fat, her hand trembling holding the fries, and she said in a trembling voice, "Hey, do you want us to help you call the police?" "No, I'm fine, thank you." Lin Feng walked away quickly. Since the man with the blood on his face said he was fine and he didn't need to call the police, then they wouldn't call the police on their own. Big. Lin Feng stood in a corner and dialed Wang Wei's phone. Wang Wei had already fallen asleep. She was still dreaming just now. She dreamed of playing with Lin Feng in college. Lin Feng patted her on that time. Her slap almost landed on Lin Feng's face. Wang Wei didn't sleep very deeply. She heard the phone ring within 3 seconds, and couldn't help complaining, "Who is this, calling so late?" She reached for her mobile phone from the bedside table and saw that it was Lin Feng, and she immediately became angry, thinking, "Lin Feng, what are you doing, you bastard, call me so late, you are a freelancer, you can sleep whenever you want. When will I go to bed, but I have to go to work tomorrow." Maybe Lin Feng had something important. Wang Wei didn't hang up directly, but she picked it up and said angrily, "Lin Feng, are you ill?" "I was injured, very seriously. I'm near your community, come out." "You kid me to play, it's so boring, if you do this again, I will ignore you." Wang Wei doesn't believe that Lin Feng was injured. Lin Feng's kung fu is very high, but he can easily injure others. It is a little difficult for others to injure him. Nearby, the credibility is too low. Wang Wei threw her phone aside and laid on the bed to continue sleeping. If she lost sleep because of this, she would find trouble with Lin Feng, and at least let Lin Feng treat her to a good meal to make up for it. The moment the phone rang again, Wang Wei immediately jumped up. Seeing that it was still Lin Feng, she believed it was true. If Lin Feng teased her, one time was enough and she would not call again. "Lin Feng, did something really happen to your kid? Come out soon, I'm about to die. Wait for me." Wang Wei didn't even care about changing her clothes, she ran out in her pajamas, pulling her slippers. The moment she saw Lin Feng, Wang Wei was stunned, and tears flowed out. "Oh my God, who hit you? It's too hard." Lin Feng didn't say anything, and walked quickly towards the gate of the community. Wang Wei had to jog to keep up with Lin Feng's footsteps. Lin Feng and Wang Wei alerted the community security. 2 security guards came over and asked, "Did something happen to you? Oh, who hit you? Did you call the police?" "It's fine," Lin Feng said. "Is it all right?" Nothing is better than nothing, so the 2 security guards walked away immediately. After arriving home, Wang Wei just asked what was the matter, and Lin Feng had already gone to the bathroom to wash his face. He first looked in the mirror and found that the blood on his face was terrible enough. Lin Feng put water on his face and washed the blood off his face. The whole face was swollen. Fortunately, Yezi's fist didn't fall on the bridge of his nose, otherwise he would have to go to the hospital if he broke the bridge of his nose. Will be more troublesome. Lin Feng came out of the bathroom and saw that there were still tears on Wang Wei's face, and said with a smile, "Do you feel sorry for me? You're my good friend. You've been beaten like this. How could I not feel bad? I've asked you several times, but you just don't say, what's going on?" Wang Wei was very curious and anxious. But Lin Feng didn't want to tell Wang Wei why he was beaten, otherwise he would definitely be despised by Wang Wei. Even if Wang Wei didn't despise him now because of his injury, she would despise him in the future. If he wants to eat Wang Wei's tofu in the future, Wang Wei may say, Hurry up and be honest, kid, you forgot what you were like when you were beaten up for playing with a woman. That was true, why didn't you interrupt that thing? Don't ask. But I want to know. If you don't ask, don't ask. If you know the truth, it will cause you trouble, Lin Feng said. Wang Wei even thought of the detective films and police and gangster films she had seen before, and said stunned, you kid wouldn't be offending Heisei, right? Lin Feng didn't offend the Heisei Hui, but the people he offended were even more powerful than the Heisei Hui. If Ye Qingchen and Ye Zhi were ruthless, it would not be difficult to destroy one or two gangs of average size. In short, if you know, it will bring trouble to your life. If you don't ask and don't know anything, naturally no one will trouble you, Lin Feng smiled bleakly. Then I won't ask. Wang Wei's curiosity was not as strong as before. What she was most afraid of was trouble. It was better not to ask than to cause trouble. Lin Feng sat on the chair, and his whole body was in pain. Although Ye didn't beat him to a cripple, his shot was ruthless enough. He didn't evade, and Ye hit him firmly every time he attacked. Lin Feng lit a cigarette and started smoking. His face was swollen, and his smoking expression was a bit weird. Wang Wei looked at Lin Feng's sad expression and felt very uncomfortable, but she couldn't continue to ask the reason. Are you injured too? The chest, stomach, and legs are all injured, Lin Feng said. Then take off your clothes. I don't have purple potion at home, but there is alcohol. I'll wipe it for you. If I take it off, won't you see my body? Just don't take off your pants. I'm not shy, but you're even shy. You've been with women, you're so shy. It seems reasonable. Since Wang Wei doesn't mind, then Lin Feng doesn't mind taking off his clothes. He actually wants Wang Wei to scratch him. Lin Feng took off his clothes, and there was only a pair of boxer trousers left. The outline of the thing was very clear. Wang Wei only glanced at it and sighed in her heart, thinking, your kid is still so tall and straight after being injured, can't it be? When you saw me, you stood up straight. You guys are so scary and impulsive. That thing can easily rush into a woman's body. Wang Wei saw the black green on Lin Feng's chest, stomach, and legs, and said in shock, it's really hard to beat your men. Lin Feng smiled, didn't say anything, thought, in fact, Ye was merciful, he didn't beat me up, and he didn't me, I'll get better soon. Wang Wei began to apply alcohol to Lin Feng's wounds. Her technique was very delicate, as if she was a very professional nurse. In fact, Wang Wei was the first to do such a thing. Does it hurt? It doesn't hurt. If you are in pain, you can call it out, I won't laugh at you, Wang Wei said. Compared to when he was beaten just now, the pain at this time is a bit too pediatric. Lin Feng can fully bear it. In fact, when he was beaten, Lin Feng was also able to hold back his screams, but if he didn't scream, I'm afraid Ye Zhi will be more ruthless, so he called Ye Zhi on purpose. Maybe it was because he heard his tragic cry that Ye didn't hit his thing hard, but just squeezed it with his hands, causing Hongying to mistake Ye for touching his thing. It was his scream that saved his thing, allowing him to urinate normally and enjoy a woman's body normally in the future. The scream is really great. When it's time to scream, you must scream and kill the stubborn one. Usually not killed screaming. After Wang Wei wiped Lin Feng with alcohol, she looked at his outline again and thought, how big is it? It's so tall and straight, Lin Feng, if your thing can be 18 centimeters, then I admire you too much. Lin Feng's thing is indeed 18 centimeters, but Wang Wei didn't ask it before, nor did he deliberately tell Wang Wei that his thing was 18 centimeters, otherwise Wang Wei might spit on his face, and then said, how much of your is none of my business. Lin Feng thought of Bai Shan. He didn't know what happened to Bai Shan now. Ye Zhi and Hongying must have returned to Yes Villa. Ye Zhi said that if he hit him, he would not hit Bai Shan. If he didn't hit him, he would hit him. Bai Shan. Lin Feng is equivalent to having been beaten for Bai Shan. I wonder if Ye will go back and give Bai Shan a meal. Bai Shan is very slender, but she is just a weak woman. If Ye hits Bai Shan ruthlessly, it will not be difficult to kill her. I hope Ye doesn't do that. Lin Feng treats Bai Shan as a friend, and doesn't want Bai Shan to have a major incident. Welcome to reading. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are all available. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 74. The Ye family villa is luxurious and atmospheric. The Chinese-style three-story building is matched with a large courtyard. There is a flower pond in front of the courtyard, and a swimming pool and tennis court in the back. It is said that the feng shui of this villa is very good, which can make the owner of the villa soar. Before living in this villa, Ye Qingchen was already very wealthy. His wealth is even greater. So Ye Qingchen believes that this villa is a treasure of feng shui, where he smokes and drinks tea, where he thinks about problems, and where he enjoys the bodies of different women. A rich life is always more fun than a poor life. Ye Qingchen has a strong interest in that kind of thing, and since he has Bai Shan, a lover who is like a good thing, that interest is even stronger. As for money, he will live to old age to earn it. For love, he will live until he is old. Until one day, when Thump dies, everything will stop. Ye Qingchen went to a company in the UK to investigate. This is why Ye chose to start at this time. The effect Ye wanted was that when her father came back, Bai Shan had already disappeared. Ye Qingchen treated Bai Shan as a treasure. He had several times in his heart to marry Bai Shan. Before leaving, he had a heated relationship with Bai Shan. He asked Bai Shan to climb to the desk in the study to be enthusiastic. Maybe it was because he was in a hurry to catch the plane. The driver was still waiting for him. Ye Qingchen was not in a good state. He only did it for less than 5 minutes, and then he said while lifting his pants, "Baby, wait for me, I will be there soon. When I'm back, I'll buy you a present from London, you'll love it." But in Ye Zi's heart, Bai Shan is nothing but a shameless stinky woman, and Bai Shan is undoubtedly a thorn in Ye's eyes. Bai Shan didn't know that Ye Zi had found Lin Feng and beat Lin Feng. At this time, she was lying on the soft bed in her night dress and fell asleep. She dreamed of the warm scene with Lin Feng before. Ye Qingchen never appeared in Bai Shan's dreams, but Lin Feng often appeared in Bai Shan's dreams. The scene will change constantly. Sometimes it is grassland, sometimes it is mountains, sometimes it is desert. When Bai Shan misses Lin Feng, she may dream of a desert. Whenever she sees the oasis on the horizon, she will think of Lin Feng. Lin Feng is waiting for her in the oasis. She can take off her and lie down on the grass in the oasis, and be wildly enthusiastic with Lin Feng. Ye walked into the room where Bai Shan was sleeping, which was also her father's bedroom. Ye felt that such a stinky woman as Bai Shan was not worthy of sleeping in her father's bed. Ye wanted to give Bai Shan a hard kick. She kicked awake from her sleep. Ye Zizi found Bai Shan's smile on the corner of her mouth very pleasant, and she didn't know what the stinky woman dreamed. Maybe she dreamed of Lin Feng, maybe she dreamed of doing that with Lin Feng. "Bai Shan, it's time to wake up." Hearing Ye Zi's cry, Bai Shan woke up from her sleep and saw Ye standing beside the bed. She screamed, sat up and wondered, "Ye, you are back, when did you come in? This is my home. I can come in whenever I want. You stinky woman should get out. I've already beaten Lin Feng. If he hadn't been beaten for you, I'd have to beat you to death. So that you will never live again," Ye said coldly. It was as if a thunderbolt struck Bai Shan's head, causing her head to bang. It seemed that Ye already knew about her and Lin Feng's affairs. "How did you beat Lin Feng?" "Killed to death." "You killed him, you?" Bai Shan fainted instantly. Ye Zi was very distressed and thought, "You stinky woman is so distressed to Lin Feng." Ye didn't want to do anything to Bai Shan, because she had already beaten Lin Feng, but seeing Bai Shan fainted, Ye still gave her to her. A slap in the face woke her up. Stinky watch, shameless thing. I didn't kill Lin Feng, I just injured him. You should get out now. Not only do you have to get out of this villa, you also have to get out of Beijing. Get out, or I'll kill you. I'm leaving now. She slept soundly just now, and even had a spring dream, but Bai Shan was very embarrassed at this time, and she had to leave quickly. When Bai Shan was packing her luggage, I said coldly, when my dad asks, I will say that you stole the antiques from the villa and ran away. Don't worry, I will say that you stole a mere 300,000 yuan. Of antiques, I believe my father will not pursue it. Bai Shan's mind was in a mess. At this moment, all she was thinking about was Lin Feng. She didn't know how Lin Feng was hurt. She didn't hear what Ye said just now, she just snorted twice. You stinky woman, you are so shameless. You are my dad's lover. You still sleep with Lin Feng, and you steal my dad's cigarettes for him. I really want to shoot you. Ye has a gun on her body. As long as she shoots at Bai Shan's head, she can blow Bai Shan's head, but she doesn't want to do that. Until now, Ye has no life. An hour later, Bai Shan left the luxurious villa. She originally wanted to get enough 2 million before leaving, but she had to leave early. She didn't plan to stay in Beijing any longer. She wanted to go to Guangzhou. And then find a man to marry. That man may not be rich, as long as he is good to her. Bai Shan stayed in a hotel first, and she planned to buy a train ticket to Guangzhou as soon as possible. What Lin Feng was most afraid of was that Bai Shan would call him, so that it would be easy to get dressed, and maybe it would instantly arouse Wang Wei's curiosity. When Lin Feng's phone rang, Wang Wei, who was lying beside him, woke up. Wang Wei's body moved, and her slender, round legs hit Lin Feng. Who's calling? A friend. Lin Feng picked it up. I'm fine, how about you? Hearing Lin Feng's voice, Bai Shan felt more relieved. I'm fine, I've already come out, I've stayed in the hotel, I'll go to Guangzhou tomorrow. I'm afraid it will be difficult to meet in the future. Let's go, Lin Feng said, wishing you a smooth journey and finding a good man to marry as soon as possible. Who is it? I've said it all, a friend. Don't ask, otherwise it will cause you trouble, Lin Feng said. I think you didn't dare to tell me because of your guilty conscience. I guess it's not because you are afraid of causing trouble for me, but because you are afraid of losing face. Are you afraid that I will despise you? Wang Wei sat on the bed, clasped her waist with both hands, and looked at Lin Feng's face with a very different look, trying to understand from his face why. Lin Feng twisted against Wang Wei's thigh, then turned around and pretended to be asleep. Okay, you bastard, you've been beaten like this, and you're playing a hooligan to me, you unscrupulous thing. I bruised you just now, and you screwed me, and I'll kick you to death. Wang Wei's leg kicked Lin Feng's buttocks. Lin Feng's body moved, but did not roll to the ground. Wang Wei quickly realized that Lin Feng is not a conscience, but a friend who is very interesting to her. Even the best friends have their own privacy that they don't want to let the other party know. Wang Wei doesn't plan to ask anything for now. Maybe she will know what happened in the future. As for Lin Feng twisting her thigh just now, Wang Wei soon forgave him. It was time for Wang Wei to get up for work, but she didn't sleep much and was very sleepy. She sat up and pushed Lin Feng's arm. Stinky bastard, do you want me to take time off to take care of you? No, I can do it alone. I think you don't want to go back to your partition room until your injury is healed, Wang Wei said. As expected of my good friend, you know me too well. I will go back after my injury is healed. It is estimated that I will stay with you for a few days. Don't you dislike me? As long as you don't play hooligans with me, I won't despise you, but if you dare to eat my tofu, I'll kick you out. Don't blame me then, Wang Wei said tenderly, but, you can rest assured, even if I do blow you away, the money I owe you will be paid back. Go to work quickly, don't talk nonsense, I still want to sleep, Lin Feng said. Stinky thing, hurry up to sleep, take care of your injuries, get well soon, get out of my place as soon as possible. Wang Wei put on her clothes and washed up and walked out with her bag on her shoulders. It was the same time as her usual departure time, and she was not worried about being late. Lin Feng lay lazily on the bed, but he couldn't fall asleep anyway. He lit a cigarette and started smoking. He really wanted to call Bai Shan and persuade her to go to Guangzhou and stop being a lover to men. This kind of dust is not easy to make money, let a man sleep, and at the same time may take his life. If he hadn't been beaten for Bai Shan might have died at Ye Zi's hands. Lin Feng thought about it for a long time, but he still didn't make the call. He has feet on Bai Shan's body. How to walk in the future is Bai Shan's own business. With a phone call alone, he can't control Bai Shan's future. When Lin Feng ordered takeaway for lunch, Wang Wei put the order form from a nearby restaurant on the small table before going out. After he called, the takeaway arrived within 20 minutes, and he brought a bottle of Coke with him. When Lin Feng was eating, Bai Shan was already on the train from Beijing to Guangzhou. When Lin Feng wanted to take route in Beijing, Bai Shan started a new journey. Perhaps Bai Shan's future lies in Guangzhou, perhaps Bai Shan's future lies in a city no one knows about. Evening. Wang Wei came back. She bought purple potion and cotton balls. She also bought roast duck and dumplings. Stinky thing, the wound on my body must still hurt, Wang Wei showed a bright smile, but Lin Feng could see a worry in it. It was a sincere worry among good friends. I can still endure this pain. My buddy's body is made of iron. Occasionally being beaten is a fart. Then how many more times shall I beat you? If you really want to, give me a few, Lin Feng said. It's scary if a man is cheap. I think you should stop calling him Lin Feng, and forget about calling him Lin Jian. My surname is not Hao, so it doesn't sound good to be called cheap. Lin Feng smiled and said, hurry up and bring the roast duck, I'm hungry and want to eat. I just bought it for you. I'll eat it later. I'll go to the bathroom first. Wang Wei jumped to the bathroom. She quickly took off her trousers and squatted on the toilet, peeing and singing. It's not because Wang Wei's mood is very special, that's why she sings when she's peeing. She usually sings when she's peeing. Song. Wang Wei was not in a hurry to urinate this time, so she came out after singing a song. Lin Feng watched Wang Wei's steps, and once again found that her slender legs were great. Wang Wei found Lin Feng's eyes, this kid seemed to be hunting for beauty. She planned to stimulate Lin Feng, and said disdain, your kid's mood is so good, it makes people look like this, and it's aesthetic. My legs but not as strong as Shen Bingqian's legs. The last thing Lin Feng wanted to hear was the name Shen Bingqian, but Wang Wei mentioned her again, and Lin Feng was a little unhappy. Did you mean it? What did you mention her for? Wang Wei didn't say anything for the time being. She put the dumplings and roast duck on a plate, and when she was eating with Lin Feng, she said again, I dreamed of her a few days ago. I dreamed that she was sitting by the lake in the park and weeping, as if to commit suicide by throwing himself into the lake. No way. Look at you, and you said you don't care about her. Are you nervous? Even the tone of your speech has changed. I really don't care about her, but I don't want her to commit suicide by throwing herself into the lake. She should live well. Maybe you don't believe it, but I never cursed her in my heart. Didn't she want to marry a rich man? I do. I really hope she can find a wealthy person. Lin Feng Dao welcome readers to come and read. The latest, fastest and most popular serial works are all at Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 75. Soon we talked about Zhao Liqiang, the guy who has never been short of money since he was born. He is very attractive in elementary school and middle school, and he is very happy in college. Since the big supermarket at home has become a fireball, he has been depressed and came to Beijing to let Lin Feng after the beating. It became even more sad. Now that I am with Sister Yan, I am afraid that it is not a ghost or a ghost. A young man who is the lover of an old woman must have an extraordinary state of mind if he wants to be happy. Chen Dongliang has this state of mind, so he was slammed on the of Sister Yan, and was whipped by Sister Yan with a leather whip and cigarette butt. After being hot, she can proudly drive Sister Yan's BMW to fool around. Although Zhao Liqiang and Chen Dongliang are good friends, they are obviously two types of people. Zhao Liqiang prefers others to serve him, not him to serve others. I don't know if that kid has suffered enough to want to die. Shen Bingqian can be considered to have a solution. She actually got 200,000 yuan from Zhao Liqiang. Even if Shen Bingqian can't find a satisfactory job in the next 2 years, she will not worry about running out of money, Wang Wei said. I didn't expect Shen Bingqian to get so much money from Zhao Liqiang, but it's nothing, that's what Zhao Liqiang is willing to give her. Even if Zhao Liqiang takes her to court, she won't lose the lawsuit, Lin Feng said. After dinner, Wang Wei wanted to go out for a walk, but Lin Feng's face hadn't subsided, so she couldn't go out with her. Wang Wei went out alone. Lin Feng found that Wang Wei is really in a good mood to live alone, party when it's time to party with friends, watch movies when it's time to watch movies, and take a walk when it's time to go for a walk. Wang Wei often goes to the cinema alone to watch movies. When she encounters a new film with a good reputation, she will watch it. Wang Wei often drinks coffee alone. She likes to see the scenery outside the cafe through the glass window. Wang Wei often walks alone. The people who passed by her didn't know her, and she didn't know those people either. There are two people who are most suitable to be Lin Feng's girlfriend, one is Shang Yuna, and the other is Wang Wei. Compared with Shang Yuna, Wang Wei is more suitable to be Lin Feng's girlfriend. They are college classmates and good friends. They know each other very well and can talk to each other very well. But the two of them have no intention of being Lin Feng's girlfriends, and Lin Feng will not easily confess to either of them. Lin Feng felt that his girlfriend might be in a place he didn't know yet. That place might be a small remote village or a bustling metropolis. When Wang Wei came back, she looked very excited and looked at Lin Feng's face with very mysterious eyes, which made Lin Feng a little uncomfortable. Don't look at it with that kind of eyes, you went out for a trip, didn't you buy a Baiyun set and come back? Damn it! You want to die? Wang Wei raised her slender legs and kicked at Lin Feng. Lin Feng didn't dodge, and let Wang Wei kick him. At the same time, he also twisted Wang Wei's thigh. You screwed me to death. You bastard. I originally wanted to apply purple potion to you. I wanted you to stay in my house for a few more days. Get out of here, you're mad at me. Wang Wei kept yelling and complaining, but Lin Feng was smoking leisurely, not taking Wang Wei's anger to heart at all. Lin Feng felt that Wang Wei's anger would disappear within 10 minutes, and when the 8th minute came, Wang Wei's anger disappeared. Ask you something? Ask, Lin Feng said. Your thing is really big. How big is it? Wang Wei trembled. Lin Feng finally knew why Wang Wei was so excited. It turned out that she had been thinking about this when she was walking just now. Xiao Yi, you are thinking about spring. Don't care if I'm Si-chun or Si-xia, tell me quickly, Wang Wei said tenderly. Since we are good friends, since you are so curious, then I will tell you, but you can't tell others easily, lest hundreds of women will chase after me, want to be nice to me, and let me have nowhere to run. Don't be too confident, hurry up, how big is it? 18.2 cm, Lin Feng said. Wang Wei sighed for a while, it was really fierce, and there were still zeros and rounds. Wang Wei wondered, you can't take the size by hand, right? Will there be an error of about 3 centimeters, if it is? An error of 18 centimeters is only 0.2 centimeters. It was not measured by hand, but measured with a ruler. The day after Shen Bingqian became my girlfriend in college, I bought a tape measure to measure it. At that time, my thing was hard. It is also hard, the size is very accurate, there is no error at all, Lin Feng said. Wang Wei's face flushed. At this moment, Wang Wei's face was like a ripe red apple, which made Lin Feng want to take a few bites and taste the watery sweetness. Lin Feng, your kid is too nasty. You bought the tape measure to measure you. You can also buy a C-fixing needle and measure how deep you are, Lin Feng said. Rely on me. Forget about killing you. Wang Wei rushed over and slapped Lin Feng's head with a slap. Lin Feng grabbed Wang Wei's wrist and tugged it gently, and Wang Wei threw himself into his arms. When Wang Wei's full chest hit Lin Feng's body, she screamed and said angrily, "You bastard, let me go, or I'll be really angry." The moment Lin Feng let go of Wang Wei, he also kissed her face, and then lit a cigarette and started smoking. Wang Wei didn't dare to look at Lin Feng's face. Her breathing was heavy, as if Lin Feng was hugging her. He did that movement violently against her waist. "Lin Feng, you take off your clothes and lie on the bed. I should apply the purple potion to you. Your injury will be healed soon. Get out of here soon. I will never let you come to my house again. Looks like you've been wary of me back to the previous level. After I leave after my injury, if I want to have a meal with you, I can only go to the company to find you, right? It's so smart, that's what I mean. Who makes you hate me so much? You always tease me. I'm your good friend. If you tease me like this, you won't find a wife in the future." "What do you mean, you are considering whether to be my wife?" Lin Feng said with a smile. "Don't be stinky, I won't be your wife, you're not my dish, take it off quickly." Hearing Wang Wei shouting to him again, "Take it off quickly," Lin Feng is even more impulsive, his thing has been completely upright, if it is taken off now, it must be very embarrassing. He still took it off, and there was only a pair of trousers on his body. The outline was too clear. After Wang Wei saw it, not only did her face turn redder, her forehead even wafted out of heat, and at the same time, her trousers became more and more wet. "Don't move around, I'm going to put a potion on you." Lin Feng didn't move, Wang Wei gave him the saliva potion very carefully, but her breathing was heavy. If Lin Feng hugged her at this time, Wang Wei's full chest would hit him again, and at the same time, the purple potion would also stain Wang Wei's clothes, and then Wang Wei would go crazy again. Still forget it? For more than 10 minutes, Lin Feng didn't even touch Wang Wei's arm, but Wang Wei glanced at his outline from time to time, and then thought, "It looks big enough, but is it really 18.2 centimeters? Although Lin Feng's face was still swollen, and although Lin Feng's body was dyed purple by the purple potion, he was still very proud, because his thing won him glory again. Lin Feng has a lot of face, because his thing is very big, and it is a pride that can't be bought with 10 billion. Before spitting on the purple potion to Lin Feng, Wang Wei had put an extra sheet under him, so that the purple potion would not stain the big bed. Wang Wei warned Lin Feng that he could not go over the sheet when he was going to sleep. Lin Feng has a feeling that Wang Wei will go mad tonight, he has already thought about it, if Wang Wei goes mad, he will her. In college, Lin Feng wanted to go to Wang Wei very much, and it is not too late to go to her now. Lin Feng's cell phone rang. It was from Shang Yunjuan, the beautiful landlord. Lin Feng knew that Shang Yunjuan could not find him and would call him. "Who's calling? Why didn't you answer it?" "Landlord. Do you want to pay the rent?" "Probably not," Lin Feng said. Wang Wei still owes Lin Feng a lot of money, and it will definitely not be over in a while. Wang Wei is very worried that Lin Feng will suddenly use the money, so the first thing that comes to mind is to pay the rent. "Sister Shang, are you looking for me? Where did you go, kid? I miss you, but I can't find you anymore." "I'm at a female college classmate's house. I plan to stay at her house for a few days before going back, Lin Feng said. Shang Yunjuan was silent for a while, then said after a while, "You can do it, kid, have you got a girlfriend? If that's the case, Sister Shang will congratulate you. Not a girlfriend, just an ordinary friend. Then you live at her house." Lin Feng thought, "What's so strange, you're not my girlfriend, but I've you many times." Lin Feng brought a lot of suspense to Shang Yunjuan. Shang Yunjuan felt that no matter whether the female classmate was Lin Feng's girlfriend or not, they all passed it. Shang Yunjuan was a very wet and charming woman. Yes, when Lin Feng and the female classmate were enthusiastic, what posture did they use? Lin Feng must have held up the female classmate's legs and pinned her. Lin Feng must have stood behind the female classmate and pinned her. Shang Yunjuan was very sad. She was afraid that Lin Feng would never do that with her again after she had a girlfriend. If this is the case, she will lose that thing of Lin Feng. If this is the case, she will lose the pleasure of intoxication. If so, she'll order an electric wand online. Lin Feng. Just now your landlord seemed to say that he missed you. You didn't even go to the landlord, did you? No. You haven't her. What does she want you to do? I've never you before, but you miss me sometimes, Lin Feng said. You shameless thing, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Your injury better get better tomorrow, and then you can get out. After midnight. The room was very quiet. Lin Feng could hear Wang Wei's breathing, and Wang Wei could also hear Lin Feng's breathing. Wang Wei had already changed into pajamas when she was taking a bath. In fact, she really wanted to wear a night dress, but she was afraid that wearing a night dress would reveal the spring. If the night dress was rolled up, Lin Feng might see her trousers. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and Wang Wei has not gone mad yet, but Lin Feng knows that Wang Wei has not fallen asleep, and he does not plan to go mad before Wang Wei goes mad. If Wang Wei goes mad first, he is going mad. When Wang Wei cried and scolded him, he had something to say. Wang Wei is still pondering that question, is Lin Feng's thing really 18.2 centimeters? If there is an error, how much will it be? Wang Wei really wanted to touch Lin Feng's thing, but if she stretched out her hand, it would be more than just touching it. If she touched Lin Feng's thing, Lin Feng might touch her wet place. The fingers of her entered her body, which may have destroyed her membrane. Never mind. No matter how big your thing is, it has nothing to do with me. Thinking of this, Wang Wei can finally sleep peacefully. When Wang Wei really fell asleep, Lin Feng could also feel it. Since Wang Wei slept, he should have slept too. After a good night, Wang Wei went to work. Lin Feng took a shower and washed the purple potion off his body. He found that the injury was much better. The purple potion had a very limited effect. The key was that he was in good health. Lin Feng saw the pants that Wang Wei had changed. She was busy going to work and did not wash off the pants in time. Lin Feng didn't have the urge to wash Wang Wei's pants. If Wang Wei was his girlfriend, he might wash Wang Wei's pants when necessary. But through Wang Wei's pants, Lin Feng fantasized about a lot of content. Lin Feng wondered if some men in this world dream of being reincarnated as lace pants, because lace pants are the closest to women's secrets. Because there are men, women have desires, and because there are women, men have desires. Both men and women are tortured by desires. They want to have with one, and they want to have with the other. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 76. A few days later. Except on weekends, Wang Wei goes to work every day. When working in the company, Wang Wei always thinks about Lin Feng, who was injured for unknown reasons, but this kind of thinking is out of friendship rather than love. Once back home, Wang Wei will take good care of Lin Feng. Not only will he always buy delicious food for him from outside, but he will also cook for him personally. According to Wang Wei, give your kid a better meal and let him eat it. Get well soon from your injury, then get out of my way. You sleep in the same room with me every day, it makes me feel very insecure. These days, he and Wang Wei are sleeping in the same bed, their bodies are very hot, but nothing happens. When they were sleeping, their bodies would sometimes touch each other. Sometimes Lin Feng's arm touched Wang Wei's chest, and sometimes Wang Wei's slender legs touched Lin Feng's body, but Lin Feng did not. Tearing Wang Wei's pants, Wang Wei naturally wouldn't tear off her pants wildly to let Lin Feng appreciate her. Lin Feng admires her own endurance, and Wang Wei also admires Lin Feng's endurance. Wang Wei found out again that Lin Feng is a very good man, but she still has no idea of falling in love with Lin Feng. It is good to be friends. Friends will last longer than lovers, but friends are far less than lovers. My body belongs to my lover, but when I have difficulties, I find friends. Lovers get pleasure, friends get trouble. For the sake of the lover, you can turn against your friends, but for the sake of your friends, you generally don't turn against your lover. Lin Feng's injuries were healed, he left Wang Wei's house and returned to his rented partition room. In the days when Wang Wei's family was recuperating, Lin Feng used perseverance to control his impulses every day. It can be said to be a torment, but Lin Feng will always remember these few days, and I believe Wang Wei will not forget it. But sometimes Lin Feng thinks that memories are for nothing, and getting them is the most practical, but after all, it is difficult for him to break through his own bottom-line principles and do things that are inferior to the beasts. Lin Feng was surprised to find that the partition house that Zhou Qingfang and Zheng Qi moved out had a new neighbor, and the voices seemed to be two women, but maybe only one woman lived here, and the other was her friend. Or maybe it was a man who came in, and the two women were called by this man. Lin Feng's cell phone received a text message from Shang Yunjuan, the beautiful landlord. Are you still at that female classmate's house? Lin Feng replied, I have come back. Shang Yunjuan did not continue to send him text messages, but he knew that Shang Yunjuan would drive over soon in a Bora. Shang Yunjuan was already on her way, driving Bora and listening to Su Meijing's barred window. Her heart was very moist, and her body was also very moist. Shang Yunjuan, a woman in her 30s, had a lot of water, but she didn't wash away with her car. Bora parked in the parking space stably. After she got off the car, she walked quickly into the unit building. Even when she was collecting rent before, she had never been so active. Unlike other landlords, Shang Yunjuan usually collects rent a few days later. As long as the tenants who have lived in her partition room for more than 3 months know this rule, so even if you happen to have no money when it comes time to pay the rent, don't worry too much, because the landlord may not show up until 3 or 4 days later, and even if she doesn't show up when she shows up, as long as she explains the situation, she can pay the rent in about a week at night. Lin Feng lay on the bed and read the reader he bought from the newsstand on the road. He knew it was Shang Yunjuan when he heard the knock on the door. He put the book aside and opened the door. Lin Feng saw Shang Yunjuan in black bodysuit and said with a smile, Sister Shang, it's been a few days since you disappeared. You seem to be fuller. Shang Yunjuan hugged Lin Feng's neck tightly, kissed him on the face, and smiled charmingly, I have always been plump. I was plump when I was not divorced, and I am still plump after divorce. Shang Yunjuan felt Lin Feng's uprightness in her stomach, and smiled, how many times have you fought with your female classmate? You miss her so much, and you lived there for several days. Not once. Then what's the point of staying here, you won't lie. Shang Yunjuan finally loosened Lin Feng's neck and sat on the bed. Lin Feng would not tell Shang Yunjuan that he was beaten for Bai Shan and then hid in Wang Wei's house to recover. If Ye Ziyi wanted to ruin his reputation, it would be easy, but if Ye Ziyi ruined his reputation, it would also ruin Ye Qingchen's reputation. Although the injuries on his body were healed, he returned to the partition room. Bai Shan also left Beijing and went to Guangzhou, but he was still a little scared when he remembered it. His novels will be permanently discontinued, and his readers will first be sad and scolded, and then forget him. Seeing Shang Yunjuan in tights lying on his bed, looking up at the ceiling with a very intoxicated look, Lin Feng said with a smile, "Sister Shang, are you a little crazy? Don't you think do it with me in the partition room, someone next door will hear it, you are the landlord, you have to pay attention to the impact. You can just take it easy. I'm in the mood to come with you in this partition room." Shang Yunjuan smiled charmingly. In fact, Lin Feng is also in a good mood. Being a landlord in the rented house will give you a great sense of accomplishment. But Lin Feng suspects that even if he is very light, Shang Yunjuan may make a very intoxicated cry. The quality of the bed is very poor, and it will creak when turning over. Seeing Shang Yunjuan's slender legs rippling, Lin Feng didn't want to take too much into consideration. Shang Yunjuan wasn't afraid. What was he afraid of? Lin Feng took off his clothes first, and then began to tear Shang Yunjuan's tights. Shang Yunjuan had already started greedily stroking Lin Feng's body. The two fiery bodies were entangled together. Lin Feng's movements were very light, Shang Yunjuan was just panting, but she did not shout happily. When the third pleasure hit, Shang Yunjuan couldn't bear it anymore and shouted a few times. The two women in the next room were immediately stunned, and said with round faces, as if a woman was calling, "Is there a woman next door? Our neighbors are doing that with women." Guazi said, "What a woman." The round face said, "I didn't see it, I don't know what kind of woman she is. I'll hear footsteps and open the door to have a look." Guaziface said, "This house is too soundproof, if there is any noise in our room, people outside will also hear it." The round face said, "Hear it as soon as you hear it, anyway, I don't care, life is about being free, and I can't care too much about other people's opinions. I am in charge of my life, my faith, and love, and my pleasure, oh yeah." As Guazi's face jumped, her chest trembled, "Oh yeah." After being nourished by Lin Feng, Shang Yunjuan was extremely hydrated and smiled charmingly, "Go back and make dumplings for you to eat. Buy good wine for me to drink. Ro. Buy seafood for me to eat. Ro." Lin Feng felt that if he said, "Give me your sister," Shang Yunjuan would definitely say no. Lin Feng asked about the new neighbors who had moved in. Shang Yunjuan told him that the new ones were two women, and they were both beautiful women in their 20s. Lin Feng was shocked. He didn't expect his new neighbors to be two beauties, but he quickly thought about whether there would be any problem with the two beauties sleeping on the same bed, and would he hear the buzzing sound of the electric wand? Is it gay? Then who knows? It's possible. The round face is very hot and charming, the melon face is cool and looks like a man, but don't get me wrong, I said her style is like a man, in fact, she is a very beautiful beauty," Shang Yunjuan said. "Maybe it's really love." Among them, the round-faced woman named Zhao Fei plays the role of a woman, and the melon-faced woman named Dainan plays the role of a man. Shang Yunjuan's graphic production center still has something to do. She can't accompany Lin Feng to lunch, so she went out first. When Shang Yunjuan passed by the door of the partition room rented by the two beauties, the door opened a crack. Zhao Fei, with a round face, saw that it turned out to be the beautiful landlord Shang Yunjuan. "Damn! Dainan, guess who I saw?" Zhao Fei looked very excited. "Who is it?" "The landlord is Shang Yunjuan. There is love. The beautiful landlord has a relationship with the kid next door." The creaking sound lasted for a long time. "That kid is capable," Dainan said. Zhao Fei was a little jealous, and said angrily, "What do you mean? You can only like me, not the kid next door." "Darling, don't worry, I'm only interested in women in my life, not in men," Dainan said. "You can't be interested in other women, you can only be interested in me," Zhao Fei said. "I will be very in love with you." Dainan and Zhao Fei hugged tightly, Their towering chests rubbed together and kissed passionately. When contemporary Nan stroked Zhao Fei's chest, Zhao Fei was also stroking Dinan's chest. After making out for a while, Dinan and Zhao Fei both calmed down. Zhao Fei said tenderly, "My dear, how long are we going to stay here? Although the condition of the partition room here is very general, the rent is suitable, and it is close to where we work. If possible, we will live for a longer period of time," Dinan said. "It would be more appropriate if you don't have to rent out a house." "What do you mean?" Dinan said. "Threats Shang Yunjuan, if she collects our rent, she will publicize her affair with the kid next door. Shang Yunjuan will definitely be afraid. In this case, maybe we don't need to rent the house for a year here." "What if Shang Yunjuan wasn't afraid? After all, we didn't take pictures," Dinan said. "Try it. Although you are a woman, you are clearly my man, and the happiness of my life depends on you. You can do this, save more money, and then we will be in Beijing. Buy a house, and when Huaxia Kingdom allows gays and lesbians to get married, we will go get a certificate and adopt a child." The blueprint drawn by Zhao Fei is very beautiful to Dinan. In a vague way, Dinan has already started to pick up the adopted child to and from school. In order to save some money, she decided to take the risk. As soon as Shang Yunjuan arrived at the graphic production center, she received a text message on her mobile phone, which was sent by a new tenant. "Dinan's sister Shang, Zhao Fei and I have learned about your relationship with the kid next door. If you don't want to, if there is a scandal, let's meet and talk. If you are not afraid of anything, I will publicize it and post it on the internet. Maybe the hit rate will soon be hundreds of thousands or even millions. Maybe you will change. Become the focus of the city." Shang Yunjuan likes pleasure and likes to do that with Lin Feng, but she is also a person who loves face. She is elegant and graceful on the road. In the circle of friends, she is a very decent woman, and she does not want to make any scandals. If there are many people pointing at her while walking on the road, I am afraid she will not even have the courage to live. If her ex-husband finds out about her scandal, that wolf-hearted thing will laugh she lost her teeth, and at that time, she would not be able to live. Shang Yunjuan was scared to pee. She wetted her and her leggings. Shang Yunjuan's heart was beating fast. She didn't expect this kind of intimidation to fall on her head. She left the graphic production center in a hurry, got in the car and called Lin Feng. When Lin Feng learned that the two beautiful neighbors threatened Shang Yunjuan, he was immediately angry. He said to Shang Yunjuan, "Don't panic, I have the ability to repair them both." Shang Yunjuan said, "If they don't eat your way, then I'll really have a scandal, and I won't have the face to go out in the future." Lin Feng said, "It won't be that serious, you have to believe me." Shang Yunjuan hummed, and the matter was left to Lin Feng to handle. She was too lazy to deal with Dinan and Zhao Fei. Dinan and Zhao Fei were worried because they couldn't wait for Shang Yunjuan's response. Dinan wondered, did Shang Yunjuan read the text message? Maybe you haven't seen it yet. Maybe she saw it, but she doesn't care, she will fix us in turn, Dinan said. Isn't there Brother Lu? I'm afraid, if Shang Yunjuan dares to find someone to repair us, let Brother Lu help. Brother Lu has been thinking about you and wants you to be his woman. If you ask Brother Lu for help, he will have even more reason to pester you. It's best not to ask him, Dinan said. After intimidating Shang Yunjuan, Dinan and Zhao Fei are more worried than Shang Yunjuan. Welcome to reading. The latest, fastest and most popular serial works are available. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 77. Lin Feng was very angry, which reminded him of how he was threatened by the box princess Lu Xiona when he had an affair with Bai Shan. Lin Feng did make concessions that time, but he has experienced a lot during this time, especially because after Bai Shan was beaten by Yezi, Lin Feng's mentality changed, and he would no longer be easily intimidated by people. Lin Feng was not in a hurry to find Dinan and Zhao Fei. He still needed to think about how to scare them as much as possible. If they were as brave as Lu Xiona's chicken who wanted to be a chicken head, things might be very troublesome. There is also a possibility that Dainan and Zhao Fei know some people who are mixed in the society. Lin Feng walked out of his partition room, and when he passed by Dainan and Zhao Fei's partition room, he coughed purpose. Dainan and Zhao Fei were both sitting on the bed, and their bodies trembled when they heard a violent cough. "That kid is coughing," Zhao Fei said. "It's very hard, are you warning us?" Dainan said. "It's really possible, why don't you inform Brother Lu and let Brother Lu beat him up?" Zhao Fei said. "Zhao Fei, I warn you, if you mention Brother Lu again, I will worry about you." Dainan was quite manly when she was angry, but she was clearly a beauty. After Lin Feng went to a nearby restaurant to eat, he basically thought about how to deal with Dainan and Zhao Fei. It is best to deal with them at night. When he returned to the partition room, Lin Feng was not in a bad mood. Word. When Lin Feng lived in Wang Wei's house while recovering from injury, he would code every day, but at most 8,000 words a day. He planned to code 12,000 words today, so that he would not feel like wasting time. Judging from the daily workload, Lin Feng knows that he is a very diligent writer, but he always has the feeling of wasting his time. Unless the amount of code words on a certain day exceeds the expected number of thousands of words, he will feel very enriched. Lin Feng Zheng has communicated with several author friends who have good conversations about it. Some people feel the same way as him, while others don't care. Lin Feng has a good reputation in his circle, and everyone from the editor to the author thinks he is a very down-to-earth person. At that time, Wang Wei always said that Lin Feng was very diligent. If Tiandao could really reward his diligent work, then Lin Feng might be successful in the future. If Lin Feng reached the level of 1,000 words and 1,000 yuan, he would be a very rich man. Lin Feng is not a person who likes to speak rhetorically to others. He always believes that results are more convincing than words, but even Lin Feng himself does not know why. If Wang Wei can give him a thumbs up and say, "Lin Feng, you are awesome, you will definitely be rich in the future," he will be even happier. But at that time, Wang Wei didn't give him a thumbs up, nor did she say that he was great. She kept guessing who injured him for what reason. Wang Wei felt that the person who did it must have a higher kung fu than Lin Feng. Otherwise, with Lin Feng's character, if someone beat him, he would not be able to fight back. But the actual situation was that neither Ye nor Hongying were Lin Feng's opponents. Lin Feng first defeated Hongying and gave her a slap in the face, and then Lin Feng let Ye beat her. Lin Feng had no choice. If he didn't beat Bai Shan, Ye might beat Bai Shan to death or even crippled. Bai Shan is a bit dusty, but Lin Feng still hopes that Bai Shan can continue to walk on two legs instead of crawling on the ground to beg. Thinking of the possibility of another increase in the price of the manuscript before the Spring Festival, Lin Feng's motivation came again. He very much hoped that the manuscript fee could reach 1,000 words and 40 before the Spring Festival, so that the manuscript fee he received every month could exceed 10,000. If he can have more than 10,000 manuscript fees every month, he can save more money while improving his life. The green axis mechanical keyboard made a crisp sound, and it was very coherent. It lasted for more than half an hour and still had no intention of stopping. Dainan and Zhao Fei could clearly hear the sound of the keyboard. They didn't know that Lin Feng was an online writer, although they also liked to read online novels. "Then what is this kid doing? If you keep typing, you won't be asking someone to come and fix us on the internet," Zhao Fei said. "Probably not. Maybe he is writing some material. Since he is in the mood to write materials, he may not know about Shang Yunjuan's intimidation. Maybe Shang Yunjuan hasn't seen the text message yet," Zhao Fei said. Regardless of whether Shang Yunjuan saw the text message or not, Dainan and Zhao Fei didn't plan to intimidate her a second time. Since the first text message has already been sent, they can only wait for the result. Dainan felt a little regretful. He shouldn't have sent text messages to intimidate Shang Yunjuan in order to save rent. In fact, the landlord and the tenant had an affair, and it was none of their business. At about 9 o'clock in the evening, Dainan and Zhao Fei went out. Lin Feng didn't know what they were doing or where they went. Both Dainan and Zhao Fei hang out at the Menfei Yang disco about 8 kilometers away from this street. Dainan is the lead dancer and Zhao Fei is the wine girl. Menfei Yang disco is a very large-scale entertainment venue in Beijing. It is said that the owner is a very popular person in Beijing. After 10 o'clock in the evening, the Menfei Yang disco will be lively, and it is time for them to work. When the beautiful Dainan leads the dance, she is very hot and very feminine. Sometimes she dances in hot clothes, sometimes dancing in underwear. Dainan's curves are graceful, Dainan's legs are slender and plump, her body is very textured, and she dances extremely hot. When she danced in her underwear, in order to arouse the emotions of everyone, her hands would sometimes touch her chest or panties, and her long tongue would stick out to lick her lips. She is good at chair dancing and pole dancing. Some people even say she is a dancing elf. Lin Feng has already written 8,000 words, and he will soon reach 10,000 words. Lin Feng is still in the mood to continue coding. At the same time, he is also waiting for Dainan and Zhao Fei to return. Still haven't come back. What are these two hateful beautiful neighbors doing? Are they all chickens? If these two beautiful neighbors are chickens, it can only mean that there are too many chickens in this world. Chickens can be seen everywhere, some are walking on the street, some are eating in restaurants, some are riding in the car, and some are riding on a man. Some people have a future, and some have a bad faith. It was almost 3 o'clock in the morning when Dainan and Zhao Fei came back. The two of them seemed to be very excited, making a loud noise, and they didn't care about the feelings of other tenants. Dainan and Zhao Fei walked into the partition room. When Dainan wanted to close the door, Lin Feng grabbed the door handle, squeezed in, and instantly closed the door. Dainan and Zhao Fei were both nervous. Dainan grabbed a fruit knife instantly, and when she wanted to use the fruit knife to scare Lin Feng grabbed her fruit knife instantly and slapped her in the face. Lin Feng's slap landed heavily on Dainan's face. Dainan fell to the ground, and blood gushed from the corner of his mouth. Zhao Fei was so frightened that she formed a group and looked at Lin Feng in panic. Her body kept shaking, her lips were trembling, but she didn't shout. To kill the stubborn one, Zhao Fei was very worried that if she shouted, Lin Feng would kill her instantly. In the past, Zhao Fei had a sister who was stabbed to death by the gangster when she resisted the robbery. The blood of that sister was more than 10 meters away in the black alley. When she died, the blood all over her body it was almost drained, and then the gangster ate the gun, but the sisters never came back. Lin Feng kicked Dainan's thigh with both feet again. He didn't kick Dainan's stomach or Dainan's waist, for fear that something might go wrong. A woman's lower abdomen and waist are very fragile, and Lin Feng is even less violent. Kicking Dainan's chest or head, he just wanted to teach Dainan a lesson, he didn't want to kill her. Lin Feng's kung fu is very high. Although he doesn't beat people often, he has a lot of experience in beating people, and he knows how to beat people very painfully without killing them. After a few simple moments, Dainan apologized, "Dude, please, stop fighting, I don't dare, I really don't dare." Dainan's words are very manly, but her voice is very sweet, she is clearly a beauty. The beautiful face of melon seeds can easily remind men of a certain big star. Although she did not have the life of a star, many stars are more cheap and hot than her, but those people are stars but she is not. Tall are full and hot, slender legs are curvaceous and plump, walking on the road, she is a charming beauty with a high rate of return. There may be a man who looks at her back and says that when he is looking for a wife, he is looking for a wife like that. He can tell just by looking at her two legs. It is very fun to raise her legs to do that. There may be a man looking at her back and saying such a beautiful woman is not suitable for a wife, only a lover. Such a woman is easy to cheat, because sleeping with such a woman is too comfortable. Many men want to sleep with her. Lin Feng slapped Dinan's face just now, causing blood to flow from the corners of her mouth. Dinan's legs were so painful that she could barely lift them up. Dinan burst into tears, but she didn't dare to cry hard, for fear that Lin Feng's sudden blow would make her unable to make any sound. Now that Dinan and Zhao Fei have been frightened, Lin Feng doesn't plan to continue. Lin Feng whispered, "Come to my room." Lin Feng walked out, Dinan tremblingly followed. Zhao Fei held her head, her slender body was still in a ball, trembling non-stop. Returning to his partition room, he was obviously more comfortable than before. Lin Feng sat on the chair, Dinan stood in front of him with his head lowered, and his long rose-red hair covered half of his face, very charming and decadent. "You seem to be called Lin Feng." "My name is Lin Feng." "Brother Lin, don't hit me." "I won't dare anymore, and Zhao Fei won't dare either. In fact, we just wanted to save some rent, so we lost our heads. We've never done anything to extort people before. You just live in Beijing, how dare you let us go?" Lin Feng was very satisfied with Dinan's attitude at this time, and half of the anger in Lin Feng's heart disappeared. She couldn't hear Lin Feng's voice. Dinan was still panicking. In order to express her sincerity, she actually scolded, "My mother is an ass, my dad is an ass, my mom is shit, my mom is a piece of shit, my dad is a shit, so I'm a two. Aren't you a little too raw? You just scold yourself. Why do you always scold your parents?" Lin Feng was very depressed. Peach Youth. Author, Sci-fi. Chapter 78. Lin Feng just reminded Dinan not to scold his parents all the time, but Dinan jumped onto Lin Feng's bed and cried bitterly. Dinan cried a lot, and his slender and graceful body kept shaking. Lin Feng thought to himself, "That is my bed." But there was no way. Dinan was crawling on his bed crying non-stop, as if he had forced her to see her just now, and forced her to see her very hard. Lin Feng said again in his heart, "That's my bed, and I didn't take off your pants. You cry, even if I hurt you, you shouldn't climb onto my bed and cry." Lin Feng had the urge to pull Dinan off his bed several times, but he never did it. He frowned and watched Dinan cry non-stop. Her slender and graceful body was shaking, and her cry was so loud sad. When Zhao Fei heard Dinan's cry, she panicked immediately. She didn't know what Lin Feng did to Dinan, which made her cry like that. If Lin Feng just beat Dinan again, maybe she could bear it, but if Lin Feng just beat Dinan again, she might be able to bear it. She couldn't bear to do that to Dinan, because Dinan belonged to her, and she would fight with anyone who dared to violate Dinan's body. Zhao Fei rushed out desperately, and quickly rushed into Lin Feng's partition room. She saw Lin Feng sitting on a chair, her eyes were even a little blank, Dinan's clothes were still on her body, and she was crying on the bed. Zhao Fei can already be sure that Lin Feng did not do that to Dinan, but she still walked to Lin Feng's side, looked at Lin Feng's face, and said coldly, "She is mine, you can't eat her tofu, otherwise I will work hard with you. Maybe I can't beat you, but I will still work hard with you." Lin Feng fully understood that Dinan and Zhao Fei were not only a pair of gays, but also a pair of gays who loved each other very much. Some gays could really fall in love with each other to the point of madness. Perhaps Dinan and Zhao Fei were among them. A pair. Lin Feng looked at Zhao Fei's beautiful round face and thought to herself, "You are a beautiful woman, you should like men, how could you become a lover?" Dinan and Zhao Fei are both beauties. Although Zhao Fei's beauty is slightly inferior to Dinan's, she is definitely the type that can make many young men and middle-aged uncles have a strong adrenal secretion. Don't look at me with that kind of eyes. Homosexuality is not shameful. Our group naturally has our own happiness, you don't understand. I don't understand a bit. Please go out first. I want to talk to Dinan alone. Don't worry, I won't possess her, Lin Feng said. Zhao Fei is still worried, as if she has no intention of going out soon. From her eyes, it can be seen that she may fight with Lin Feng at any time. Although she was frightened and formed a group just now, she is now brave enough to protect Dinan. Up. Zhao Fei, you go out first. I want to chat with Brother Lin for a while alone. Brother Lin is a good person, not what we think. Dinan said something, and then Zhao Fei walked out. There were two more people, Lin Feng and Dinan, in the partition room, but there was one more scent, which was the scent left by Zhao Fei just now. Zhao Fei likes rose-smelling perfumes, and Dinan likes lily-smelling perfumes. It was very realistic and absurd. Lin Feng couldn't help laughing. His smile was a little bitter but very comfortable. Looking at you, you are smiling like this. Do you think the love between Zhao Fei and me is funny? I don't want to talk about the love between you and Zhao Fei now. Since it exists, it may make sense. What I want to know most now is why you scolded your parents in front of me just now. I respect them very much, but I don't know why you are like this, Lin Feng said. Of course, if you don't want to talk to me about this, you can go out now, and I won't make trouble for you intimidating the landlord anymore. My parents are sorry for me, so I scold them. Dinan's expression was cold and his tone was cold. Why are your parents sorry for you? If they hadn't divorced when I was in my third year of high school, I wouldn't be like this. Many of my regrets were brought to me by them. My grades were very good. The top 30 in the grade, it was easy to get into key universities, but their divorce hit me too hard, none of them wanted me, and later the court sentenced me to my father. He was very cold to me, as if I was not. He was sleeping with my mother. I was very sad. I left home. I didn't drop out of school at that time, but I didn't have the mood to study at all. My grades plummeted, and in the college entrance examination room, my mind was full of my parents' pushback. I don't even want my scene. I'm so sad. I cried a lot in the exam room. The invigilators were terrified by me. They advised me not to cry, but I still cried. They said that if you keep crying, it will affect others. I left the venue early and cried outside, Dinan said. Lin Feng was surprised. There are many people in this world whose parents divorced, but very few parents do not want children. Dinan's parents didn't want her, and she couldn't imagine the blow that the pain brought her. Lin Feng is not a person with a lot of sympathy, but he is very sympathetic to Dinan. How could this be? Lin Feng can't figure it out, but Dinan, the victim, is sitting in his partition room. Brother Lin, do you think I'm very pitiful? You are pitiful. Brother Lin, do you think people like me shouldn't live in this world? Should I jump off the building and break my head? Then you are wrong. If I were you, I would be stronger than you, and I would live a very good life. Seeing how fashionable your dress is, you must understand the concept of holding on, which is to show yourself better than the people around you. They are all strong, and no one can compare. I look very dragged, but I'm actually very low self-esteem. I don't have a home, and my parents don't want me. I can't compare to anyone, Dinan said with a sense of loss. Why did your parents divorce? My father fell in love with another woman, and my mother fell in love with another man. When my father was sleeping with the woman in his arms, my mother was sleeping with the man in another bedroom. My father said the new woman is better than my mom said her new man is stronger than my dad. I was in the third bedroom, and I heard a lot of popping. My dad was breathing heavily, the shouting was loud. My dad didn't let my mom shout, and my mom didn't let my dad breathe, Dinan said. Lin Feng was already dumbfounded. Dinan is a teller, her face is pale, her eyes are hollow, and her lips are trembling. Brother Lin, is it wrong for me to scold my parents? Yes, scold them hard, but you have to live your life in style and let them know that you can live well without them. You seem to be smoking. I'll give you 2 good packs of cigarettes. Bai Shan gave him a lot of good cigarettes. Lin Feng took out a box of giant pandas and a box of Cordyceps sinensis and handed them to Dainan. Brother Lin, you are so rich, you smoke such good cigarettes. Given by a friend. Oh, I'll just smoke one. If your friend gave you a cigarette, keep it for yourself. You're welcome, I'll give it to you, if you want, Lin Feng said. I shot a little hard just now, and it hurt you. Dainan took the cigarette that Lin Feng gave her in embarrassment, and said gratefully, Brother Lin, it seems that you treat me as a friend. You hit me just now, right? I'm the kind of who doesn't smoke, you try hard. Cut me. If a woman hadn't been strongly stimulated in her life, she would definitely not call herself a or a cousin. In real life, Dainan, a woman so delicate and beautiful that one would think of a fairy or a goblin, would be killed. If you treat me as a friend, I will treat you as a friend, Lin Feng said to himself. You are the most pitiful person I have ever met in my life, even more pitiful than those who are disabled and cannot walk normally with broken legs. It's good, I have another friend, Brother Lin, I see you as a good person. Maybe we will become best friends, but one thing is, you can't dislike me for being a homosexual. That's your own business, I can't control it, but I also want to remind you that homosexuals can easily get sick from love. You have to pay attention to hygiene. I won't get the disease of love. My partner is Zhao Fei alone. Likewise, Zhao Fei's partner is also me. Perhaps this is a relatively different kind of loyalty, and this kind of loyalty makes Lin Feng's head a little bigger. After talking about this, Lin Feng realized that his thing was very tall and straight, and the shape of his pants had changed, but Dainan didn't seem to pay attention to his place. Lin Feng even wanted to know how Dainan and Zhao Fei played, but he wouldn't ask Dainan such a question now. If Dainan told him, he would listen, and if Dainan didn't tell him, he wouldn't ask. Brother Lin, do you have a girlfriend? No. You are such a good person, there should be many girls who like you, why don't you have a girlfriend? The success rate of love is generally proportional to the amount of money in your hand. Brother Lin has no money, so Brother Lin has no girlfriend. Oh, Brother Lin, what are you doing? Internet writer, Lin Feng said. Dainan immediately exclaimed, his big eyes flickered, and he looked at Lin Feng's face seriously. Brother Lin, you are actually a writer, you are so great. Some people have said that Lin Feng is a writer before. Lin Feng feels very indifferent to this. He thinks he is a writer, but he recognizes one thing. Real writers may be nonsense, and online writers may write good things. Come. But so far, Dainan is still the first to say that he is great with the improvement of people's verbal activity. The word great is almost used in various occasions, such as by Ozarain when the drifter is comfortable, he will say that the drifter is great, the beggar will get alms worth more than 10 yuan, and the passerby will be said that the passerby is great, and the DJ in the disco may also shout, long live the great nightlife, greatness, long live the men and women. Various scenarios. All kinds of greatness. But the greatness that Dainan said really made Lin Feng feel very comfortable. He even recalled the expression on Dainan's face when he said he was great twice in his heart. Dainan is simply too beautiful. In terms of appearance and figure, she even surpasses Shang Yuna and is on the same level as Lin Feng's ex-girlfriend Shen Bingqian. But Dainan turned out to be a lover who only loves women but not men. Perhaps Dainan's first daughter has been dedicated to the electric rod in Zhao Fei's hand. What do you and Zhao Fei do? I am the lead dancer of Menfei Yang Disco, known as the Dancing Elf. Zhao Fei is the wine girl of Menfei Yang Disco. You are welcome to play at Menfei Yang Disco in the future. If you have a chance, go over and take a look. You should go back first, or else Zhao Fei thought I was playing a hooligan with you when I was in a hurry, and I still need to code. Brother Lin, then I won't bother you. Please apologize to the landlord for me and Zhao Fei, just say sorry to her. In order to make up for this mistake, Zhao Fei and I will stay here for a while longer, even if the rent goes up a little bit. Does not matter. Dinan went out, but her aroma was still there, the smell of lily perfume, which was very intoxicating, and there was also the smell of a woman's skin. Dinan is a person who is too pitiful for Lin Feng to describe. Dinan is a lover. Dinan is the lead dancer of Fengjiao Eching. But Lin Feng recognized Dinan as a friend. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 79. When Dinan returned to the partition room, Zhao Fei was sitting on the bed in a pink night dress with a dreamy pattern and listening to songs on her mobile phone. Although she is a gay, she is also a lover, although she only likes women, but if she could see Steve Jobs before he died, she would definitely kiss him on the face and say to him, "You are great, you make my life no longer lonely." Zhao Fei took off her earphones and put the phone on the small table properly, making sure it wouldn't fall off, then looked at Chao Dinan, full of resentment. You stayed in Lin Feng's partition room for a long time, what did you all do? I didn't do anything with Lin Feng. I like women, not men. My dear, are you a little too sensitive? Are you doubting my love for you? I have no doubts about your love for me. I think our love is the greatest love in the world. Lin Feng is very strong, tall, and able to fight, but you can't like him because he is a man. Zhao Fei and Dinan's evaluation of Lin Feng was much higher than Shang Yuna and Cao Shuiying's evaluation of Lin Feng. The two of them didn't seem to mention that Lin Feng was a poor boy, they just thought he was a man, not a woman who loves men. Shang Yuna and Cao Shuiying are more concerned about Lin Feng's current economic strength, and even ignore the potential that he may explode in the future. The difference is that Shang Yuna, who hides her arrogance in her beauty and elegance, is very afraid of Lin Feng eating her tofu and thinks that her and legs are not made for Lin Feng, but Cao Shuiying likes to have a warm relationship with Lin Feng. Cao Shuiying's idea is, since you are strong, I will use you a few times. Dear, look what this is. Dinan took out the panda and cordyceps sinensis that Lin Feng gave her, and shook it in front of Zhao Fei. The cigarette case is not so fancy that it makes people dizzy, but it is indeed a high-end good cigarette, so good that people think that they will only buy this kind of cigarette when it is a gift, and this kind of cigarette turns around a few times from person to person. We'll return to the smoke shop again. In fact, in a group with a large number of people, men smoke this kind of cigarettes every day. Zhao Fei immediately screamed, "Oh my God, I didn't see it. This is the cigarette that Lin Feng gave you. How could he have such a good cigarette in his hand? He gave it to me, he said to me, it was given to him by a friend. He is definitely not a very rich person, but some of his friends may be very rich. If they are very rich, 100 yuan level tobacco is really nothing. Drinking 50-year-old Mao Tai and 10,000 yuan red wine every day will not feel like a waste. Haven't you heard it before? The beautiful owner of Mengfi Yang Disco, Black Rose, has enough red wine collection. Beijing has bought 2 luxury houses, we each have a box of cigarettes. Which box do you want? It's all good cigarettes, I want them all." Zhao Fei was a little greedy. That's not possible. You can only ask for one of the boxes. Hurry up and say, do you want giant pandas or cordyceps sinensis? Cordyceps sinensis is ready, it sounds mysterious. Zhao Fei chose cordyceps sinensis, but she can also smoke a few of Dinan's giant pandas, and Dinan can also smoke a few of her cordyceps sinensis. Dinan smokes all kinds of cigarettes, but Zhao Fei usually smokes empty cigarettes, that is, women's cigarettes, and especially likes Xian Heman and Jinling 12 hairpins. Dinan and Zhao Fei started smoking the cigarettes given by Lin Feng, and while they smoked, They chatted about what they had encountered in the Menfei Yang disco, such as a rich man who met a beautiful college student or a white-collar worker, and a man because of the scene of women fighting with jealousy. It's not every day that there are bloodshed incidents in disco clubs, otherwise any disco club will never be able to have a prosperous business. Even if the owner has a strong background, people will not go to play if they are afraid of going in and have an accident. It is good. It's not like a disco is not a hooligan as long as a beautiful woman goes to play, unless it is the kind of beauty who can make people's eyes shine at any time, otherwise ordinary women go to play, as long as they are not too embarrassed. Is still relatively safe. Occasionally a middle-aged uncle who invites to drink or dance, as long as he refuses with a smile, will basically not be entangled. Let's keep our voices low, don't affect Lin Feng's creation. Dinan, do you care too much about Lin Feng? If you do this again, I'm really jealous. How can you care so much about a man? It's too strange, Zhao Fei said. Dinan was obviously very angry, and threw the blurring props to the ground with great force, and said coldly, "Don't be too sensitive, okay? I've said it before, Lin Feng and I have nothing to do, but you still doubt the two of us." Zhao Fei burst into tears because Dinan not only yelled at her, but even threw the blurry prop on the ground. This blurry prop was very high-end and was purchased online at a high price, which represented Dinan's love for her. "Darling, you make me so sad, how could you treat me like this? I ignore you." Zhao Fei climbed onto the bed and continued to sob. Normal men and women are easy to quarrel together, and it is easy to quarrel with women who are in love with one another. The woman who plays the role of a woman always hopes that the woman who plays the role of a man can let her. When arguing before, if Zhao Fei got angry, she would use her pink fist to hit Dinan's arm or back hard, but usually she would not kick her with her feet. Nan's body, tell her, I'm very soft, be careful with me. Whenever this time comes, Dinan will coax Zhao Fei with sweet words, my dear, don't be angry, I will love you for 10,000 years, I will make you happy, and when Huaxia Kingdom allows you to get married, we will immediately get the certificate. If we are no longer alive at that time, then we will meet each other in the sky. But the quarrel this time was caused by Lin Feng. Dinan has a very good impression of Lin Feng now. If it wasn't for fear of stimulating Zhao Fei's sensitive nerves, she would rather call Lin Feng Lin Ji, but Dinan did not intend to coax Zhao Fei with sweet words. If you are happy, cry if you want. Lin Feng himself doesn't like Dinan calling him Brother Lin, but prefers Dinan calling him by his name, which makes it sound more comfortable. Lin Feng also heard the quarrel when he was typing, but he didn't understand what Dinan and Zhao Fei were saying. When Lin Feng thought of a possible situation, a thin layer of sweat appeared on his forehead. This pair of alternative beauties may have quarreled because of him. Zhao Fei may be jealous because Dinan stayed in his room for too long. Lin Feng smiled softly and shouted in his heart, I'll go, continue to code his words. The beautiful landlord Shang Yunjuan's house can be said to be all-encompassing. Since moving to the partition room here, Lin Feng has seen it. He doesn't even dare to imagine how many strange things he will encounter in his future life. Zhao Fei seemed to have compromised a bit in the partition room of the two beautiful lilies. She didn't hear Dinan's voice to make her happy with nice words, so she wanted to compromise. For a normal man, a spring night is worth $1,000. For the two of them, the spring night is worth $1,000. Zhao Fei laughed first, and Dinan soon followed. Dinan smiled and said, Dear, are you not angry anymore? Angry? Why aren't you angry? But what can I do? You don't seem to care about me as much as you used to. I advise you not to like men. Men won't treat you like me. Look at your dad, what is it? My dad is really not a thing. When I see him on the street, I want to punch him twice, but not all men in this world are my dad, and not all women in this world are my mother. The more you talk, the more outrageous you are. If you really still love me, then don't make me angry all the time, Zhao Fei said tenderly. Lin Feng heard some intoxicated voices that could only be described in other words. He was speechless, but he had to admit that the situation was real. There are many beautiful things in this world, such as innocence, family, and friendship. There are many real things in this world, such as money, power, and status. There are many cruel things in this world, such as betrayal, disaster and separation. Dinan had innocence, but later her life was gray. Zhao Fei once had innocence, but later her life was confused. Lin Feng was innocent, and later his life was progressive. He is also realistic in reality, but he has always had a dream in his heart. In his dream, some rivers and lakes are not polluted, some magnificent mountains are lush with green trees, some friendships are sincere and frank, some love is immortal. Lin Feng thought about his high school and junior high school days. He was also rebellious, but his rebelliousness had a bottom line, and he did not destroy himself because of his rebelliousness. At that time, while he was a kung fu fanatic, he also had a crush on a girl. At that time, he secretly fell in love with a very beautiful and crazy girl. Although no one said that girl was the school girl, she was indeed the most beautiful girl in that middle school. The girl's physical development is very good, and her temper is very hot. She likes to fight with the big boys in the school or the gangsters outside the school. The academic performance is not too bad, but at most average. At that time, Lin Feng wanted to have something to happen with that girl. For this reason, he did not hesitate to be criticized by the school at the flag-raising ceremony. Therefore, he remembered that he was a warrior. Later, something happened that he did not expect. Lin Feng thought, when he returns during the spring festival at home, you might see the girl you had a crush on many years ago. Lin Feng thought about his college years, which had just passed 2 years. When he was in love with Shen Bingqian, he even thought about what kind of furniture to buy after marriage. When he hugged Shen Bingqian's graceful body in a corner when enjoying romance, I will also talk about how big a house to buy in the future and how to decorate it. After Shen Bingqian broke up with him because of the rich boy Zhao Liqiang, Lin Feng realized that many of the topics between him and Shen Bingqian before were quite nonsense. When they were in love, the relationship was very good, but Shen Bingqian always disguised herself with a relatively sunny face, and rarely mentioned her family, let alone how her mother died until a long time after the breakup. Because of Wang Wei's prank, after he and Shen Bingqian fought a new long cannon, Shen Bingqian told the things that made her heart ache to the point of bleeding. Maybe she used to think that her mother's tragic experience was disrespectful to her father, but then she didn't care so much anymore. This also made Lin Feng completely forgive Shen Bingqian in his heart. At this moment, Lin Feng began to think again, Shen Bingqian must not have left Beijing, but where has she gone? Has she started working, or is she hiding in a very inconspicuous or even some healing himself in a dimly lit rental room? Afternoon. The weather was cold and cloudy, as if it was going to snow. Lin Feng opened the glass window more than an hour later and stood by the side to smoke. He blew smoke against the outside world, and the outside world faced him. Blow cold air. Lin Feng thought of Shang Yuna, the girl who was his favorite. If Shang Yuna could marry him and give him a child, it would be a kind of beauty, but the possibility of this kind of beauty being realized is not very big, so he can't wait. I don't know what Shang Yuna has been busy with these days. In her spare time, did she find Gao Fushui again? If it wasn't for Shang Yuna's act of catching the golden turtle son-in-law very reserved, I am afraid she has had stories with many rich and handsome men. If this is the case, it would be extremely difficult for her to keep her body like a jade. Since they are doing it, those men will not be reconciled if they don't work on that part of her, and what she dislikes the most is to give that part casually. She hasn't dedicated herself yet, and she doesn't know who will be the first man to exert force on her graceful and wet body. When Shang Yuna and her elder sister Shang Yunjuan used Ju Yanhuan to relieve depression, they said, "Sister, if my person appears, if I am with him, I will cry when I feel comfortable, and cry when it hurts." When Fashion Yunjuan's expression was very charming, she said, "Sister, let's cry." I became Li Xingguo's girlfriend for a few days, and the relationship ended when Li Xingguo and his ex-girlfriend were discovered by her. Maybe Shang Yuna didn't love Li Xingguo, but after all, she was the party of this lovelorn incident, she was sure suffered a small blow. Lin Feng hopes that Shang Yuna will not always think about looking for Gao Fushui in the future. It will be easier to find a man with similar conditions to fall in love, but he also knows that Shang Yuna's thoughts will not change easily. The potential woman of the Golden Turtle son-in-law, the prosperity of the city stimulates her every day, making her want to run towards wealth too much. Lin Feng's cell phone rang. Seeing that it was the beautiful landlord, Lin Feng picked it up and said with a smile, "Sister Shang, do you miss me again? We haven't had that for a few days." "Don't you miss me?" Shang Yunjuan's voice was very sweet, and Lin Feng guessed that her smile must be very charming. "If I say I don't want you, will you be disappointed?" "You bad guy, I don't believe you miss me, even if you spend the past few days with other women you will miss me." "Why?" "Because different women have similar body structure, but their taste is much different." Shang Yunjuan told the truth. "Some women are beautiful and graceful, some women are extremely ugly, some women are famous, some are boring. Beautiful women may be boring, and ugly women may be famous. Aren't you busy?" "I hurt my hand just now when I brushed the banner, and my little finger has a cut. It hurts. Can you comfort me?" Shang Yunjuan's voice trembled a little, as if she was afraid that Lin Feng would not go to her. "That's fine, I'll be there later." When Lin Feng went out, Shang Yunjuan didn't pick him up in a bora. He could only drive there by himself. The distance was not far, but it was inconvenient to take the bus. Lin Feng took another black car and arrived at the community where Shang Yunjuan was. Lin Feng saw Shang Yunjuan, who was dressed in a loose brown shirt, full of charm, with a light smile on that very attractive face, and warm and charming electric waves were released from his eyes. Lin Feng had enjoyed Shang Yunjuan's body many times before, and knew how wonderful she was, but a woman in her 30s who had been divorced once was so comforting. "Is this suit new?" "It cost 599 yuan to buy it online. I'm still very distressed. I'm afraid it won't fit. After I came back and tried it on, my doubts were dispelled. Look, how suitable it is. I don't even know my surname after I put it on." "What? Your surname is Feng Yun, your surname is Huolei, and your surname is Ai," Lin Feng said. Shang Yunjuan raised her hand, patted Lin Feng's head with assent, and said angrily, "I'll hit you on the forehead. Welcome to reading, the latest, fastest and most popular. The serialized works are all available at Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 80. Shang Yunjuan twisted in front of Lin Feng, but her simple movements caused a fascinated spring wave, which made people unable to imagine the contents of her loose clothes. Her were full and her buttocks were full. It's round, her skin is delicate, and her whole body is quite interesting. Lin Feng admired for a moment and slapped her buttocks. She stopped twisting and sat on Lin Feng's lap. Lin Feng felt the softness and warmth of the beautiful landlord's buttocks again. Lin Feng decided that he was enjoying at the moment, so he didn't have much trouble in his heart, and he didn't think of Shang Yuna every time he was with Shang Yunjuan. "Have you cleaned up that pair of beauties?" "I've cleaned up," Lin Feng said. "How did you clean it up?" "Didn't you use your uprightness to clean up?" Shang Yunjuan said with a charming smile. "Sister Shang, you seem to be a little too wild. Who am I? I'm an online writer, and I'm a promoter of literary style. Although many people don't know where I live, the world can't do without me. Clean up? I have many ways to be a woman, but I don't have to use that one. Lin Feng is very stubborn, in fact, he is very talented, but he will not slap randomly. Look at you, you are still a promoter of the literary trend. I think you should make more money and be more affordable. Tell me quickly, how did you deal with them? Shang Yunjuan was very curious. Although Dainan and Zhao Fei are a pair of lovers, they are both very hot beauties. It is not ruled out that Lin Feng will have such thoughts on them. Maybe Lin Feng has played with one of Dainan and Zhao Fei. When it comes to games with heavy taste, Lin Feng is usually not soft when it is time for him to be ruthless. Lin Feng told Shang Yunjuan about how he cleaned up Dainan and Zhao Fei, and also told Shang Yunjuan about Dainan's tragic experience. Shang Yunjuan's doubts dissipated. She was sure that Lin Feng had not played with Dainan and Zhao Fei's bodies. Shang Yunjuan was originally a very kind woman. Sometimes she was stingy because she didn't have much money, and sometimes she was too preoccupied because she was a divorced woman, but her heart was very kind. How could she bear this? Her graceful and round body trembled, and she sighed softly. Dainan is too pitiful, none of her biological parents want her, her studies are so good, and her college dream is broken. Why are her parents like that? Shang Yunjuan was so excited that she even screamed. Although Shang Yunjuan had no children, she had thought many times that if she had a child, she would let her child have a pure childhood and a splendid youth. And a bright future. She will be a very patient woman. If anyone bullies her children, she will instantly turn into a she-wolf. It's a pity that Shang Yunjuan has no children, which makes her motherly love have no way out, and makes her unable to find the opportunity to become a female wolf for a cute angel. Lin Feng just smoked and didn't take the opportunity to say anything. Although those who graduated from prestigious universities may not be able to get along well in the society, but never went to university, and missed the opportunity to go to university in such a cruel way, it is indeed the biggest pain in Dainan's life. For a person, going to university is more important to have an experience, or a kind of experience. Although in the future, you may not rely on professionalism, but this kind of experience is still very necessary. At the same time, there is also a question of academic qualifications. Even if you want to find a job across different industries, you still have academic requirements. You may be very capable, but you may be rejected if you do not have a graduation certificate and a degree certificate. If Dainan wants to show a diploma, it can only be a high school diploma. Her friends persuaded her to get a fake certificate, and then make up a story when someone asks her. Dainan also wanted to make it up, but she was making it up. At the same time, it is equivalent to beautifying her parents. In her heart, her parents are too hateful to beautify them. So no matter who asked Dainan, she said, "High school culture, I am not afraid of anything, anger my mother, and fight with you." Dainan has survived until now without committing suicide. She is already very strong. Even if she is a homosexual, she is worthy of admiration. Dainan's previous life was gloomy, and her heart was gloomy, but she was a real person. She was not air. She would eat and drink water, go to the bathroom, wear makeup, and go shopping for her period, and she was still a famous night scene dream. Fei Yangdi, the dancing elf in the hall. When she dances, many people will go wild with her dance steps. When she dances, those who dance wildly with her rhythm see her exposed skin and think she is degenerate. Yes, but her heart will rise with the dancing. Sunshine. It was after midnight, the laser light was blurry, Dichu was deafening, and people were nodding wildly. But in Dainan's heart, it was a summer afternoon. There were no clouds in the sky. The blue sky was like a pure mirror. Reading on a chair. Both Lin Feng and Shang Yunjuan admire Dainan. Shang Yunjuan no longer hates the pair of lilies who sent text messages to intimidate her. If it wasn't for the fear of not being able to explain to Shang Yuna, she would have wanted to lower the rent for the pair of lilies. A kind-hearted person can easily go bankrupt once he is impulsive. Shang Yunjuan has done this kind of stupid thing many times before. Before, he donated 60 yuan for the car fare to a boy who was kneeling on the ground and had no money to go home. No one else donated. But she donated it, and she felt that the boy's tears were real. If it wasn't for urgency, who would kneel and beg passers-by? But more than an hour later, when she came out of the mall, she saw the boy on another flyover, still crying, still very pitiful. She said in surprise, "Child, didn't I give you money? Come home quickly, your parents are waiting for you." The boy didn't even look at her, as if she was a liar. Shang Yunjuan asked again, "Son, what's the matter with you?" The child, who looked very pitiful, suddenly had a contorted face, and shouted to her in a cornered tone, "Go away." Only then did Shang Yunjuan realize that she had encountered a liar, and she started to feel sorry for her money when she left in disappointment. Why don't she take away and invite the two girls from the graphic production center to eat fruit? The two girls always said, "Sister Shang, come here and buy a watermelon, Sister Shang, come here with a bottle of fruit oranges. Sister Shang, I want to eat Lu Shui." It's not that Shang Yunjuan doesn't buy it, but she doesn't buy it often. More often, she just smiles. Her smile is gentle, as if she doesn't lose her temper when she encounters anything. Shang Yunjuan sometimes shows her stinginess and thinks she is a bad woman. They all know that Shang Yunjuan is not a rich man, but a woman who is not easy to live without a husband. But Shang Yunjuan didn't stop doing this kind of stupid things because of that experience. When she took the subway, she saw those people walking forward without legs, on their knees, carrying tape recorders and singing with microphones. 9. When sweat and tears are all over the body, I still pay for it. She is very stingy, but driven by her kind heart, she will always be generous when she shouldn't. Lin Feng hugged Shang Yunjuan's plump body, stroked her chest, and kissed her tears dry. "Don't be hurt, it's enough to take care of yourself, you're not doing well." "Actually, you are also a kind person," Shang Yunjuan said. In response, Lin Feng did not give a clear answer. He pressed Shang Yunjuan onto the sofa. When the two hot bodies trembled, Shang Yunjuan temporarily forgot the hurt in the pleasure. After the enthusiasm, Shang Yunjuan was fully satisfied. She was looking forward to Lin Feng's second time, so she did not put on clothes immediately. Lin Feng put on his clothes, leaned on the sofa and watched TV and smoked a cigarette, and said with a smile, "Sister Shang, what would you like me to eat for dinner? Yun Na will bring the roast duck back later. I'll cook some rice and make a cold dish. Also, Lin Feng likes roast duck very much." The roast duck that Shang Yuna brought back might have an intoxicating aroma on her body, and it would taste even better in her mouth. Lin Feng guessed that Shang Yuna was coming back soon. Even if it was cooking rice and cold dishes, Shang Yunjuan should have started, but Shang Yunjuan kept shaking her bare bottom in front of him. After scoring twice, she was in the mood to cook. Just when Shang Yunjuan had just put on her clothes and the tissues on the floor had not been cleaned up, Shang Yuna came back with the roast duck. Very elegant, wearing a mask. The full and slender legs have a strong visual impact. When Shang Yuna walks on the campus of Beijing Normal University or on the street, she doesn't know how many men will look at her. Young men like to look at women's faces, middle-aged men like to look at women's and buttocks, and Shang Yuna's beauty can kill men from 13 to 60. Shang Yuna is naturally beautiful. Her temperament is not influenced by money and status. As a university teacher, she will definitely not have much money. She is naturally beautiful, and she was too beautiful when she was a kindergartner. Fortunately, his childhood was splendid, and he never met a strange uncle who had lost his conscience. Up to now, Shang Yuna's face is so delicate that it makes people feel too beautiful, her body is so graceful that it makes people dizzy, her body is fragrant, and her membrane is still intact. Shang Yuna blinked at Lin Feng before taking off her mask. "The wind is so strong that it killed me. It might stop snowing when the wind blows, but it's better to have snow and the air will be better," Lin Feng said. Your partition room smells of smoke everywhere. It's more terrifying than a crematorium. You have practiced it? To you, dust is a fart, and smog is a fart. Shang Yuna twisted her hips, taunting Lin Feng and looking at the tissue on the ground. Her voice gradually became cold. I don't object to you fighting with my sister, but you have a little quality, and you enjoy my sister's body. Afterwards, can you clean up the tissues on the floor, or when the two of you do it, you can put the paper tube aside and throw the used tissues directly into the paper tube. Lin Feng was very embarrassed. The elegant and beautiful Shang Yuna is always scolded by him in anger, and she vents her hidden pungentness to him incisively and vividly. When he was enjoying Shang Yunjuan's body, Shang Yunjuan was actually enjoying his body, but he didn't bother to argue with Shang Yuna. If Shang Yuna was angry, he might not be able to eat roast duck. Lin Feng packed up the tissues on the ground, and then sat beside Shang Yuna. Shang Yuna gave Lin Feng a sideways glance and deliberately stayed away. Her hips still trembled a few times on the sofa. Shake your sister, be careful I touch you. Lin Feng thought about it this way, and wanted to tell Shang Yuna, you have been very busy recently, do you have a new goal, but he was too lazy to say anything, so he lit a cigarette again and started smoking. Shang Yunjuan was cooking in the kitchen, but when she heard Shang Yuna taunting Lin Feng, she was also embarrassed, because more than half of those tissues were used by her. When eating together, Lin Feng was not polite. Since he sat at the table, he could eat whatever he wanted. Shang Yuna bought enough roast ducks, and there was still some left over for this meal. Lin Feng, how much do you earn a month now? Shang Yunjuan asked. 7 or 8,000, Lin Feng said. Blow it up, Shang Yuna said disdainfully. Did I blow? Do you feel the wind? Lin Feng said. Then do the math for me. How can you earn 7 or 8,000? I think you are about 5 or 6,000 a month. It's 30 yuan per 1,000 words. If you write 260,000 to 300,000 words a month, it will be 7,000 to 8,000 yuan after tax, Lin Feng said. When the manuscript fee is raised in the future, you can earn more. Before the Spring Festival, it was 40 yuan per 1,000 words. It is possible that by that time, my monthly income will easily exceed 10,000 yuan. Pretty much the same. Lin Feng is also a person who is about to earn more than 10,000 yuan. What's wrong with this world? People like Lin Feng are also earning more and more. However, even if Lin Feng earns more than 10,000 yuan a month, it doesn't seem like a big deal. In Beijing, even if he earns 100,000 yuan a month, it won't make much waves. Tens of millions are just getting started. Hundreds of billions are the top rich. Shang Yuna was speechless, but she still wanted to ridicule Lin Feng, because almost all the roast ducks she bought were eaten by Lin Feng. She glanced at Lin Feng contemptuously. You really can make up, write it in a month. So much, keep writing, what's in your head? Shit, Lin Feng said. Shang Yuna was most afraid of hearing people mention when she was eating, otherwise she would be disgusted. When she was in middle school, she stepped on dog feces on the road and fell over. The dog feces were on her hands. Although she took a bath 3 times and washed her hands countless times after she came back, she always felt the smell of dog feces. She was disgusted, and then fell into this problem. Hearing Lin Feng's mention of shit, Shang Yuna immediately woke up. This was definitely not the sound a woman made when she was excited, but she was starting to feel sick. Shang Yuna hurried to the bathroom, bent over the toilet and vomited so much that she vomited all the roast duck she had eaten just now. Lin Feng felt that something was wrong. After Shang Yuna came out of the bathroom, she might slash him with a kitchen knife. Lin Feng said anxiously, Sister Shang, I'm done eating, I'll go first. Let's go, you really are. Yun Na is most afraid of people mentioning shit. You, okay, I'll explain it to you later. Shang Yunjuan hurriedly went to the bathroom to take care of her sister. Lin Feng flashed quickly. He was very puzzled. Even if the was dirty and smelly, he shouldn't have such a big reaction when he heard it. He even suspected that Shang Yuna had really eaten before. I do something wrong, I hate myself so much so I punish myself by eating shit, I lost money on the road, I feel so useless, so I punish myself by eating on. Shang Yuna threw up a lot. Her beautiful face was not so rosy, but pale. She ran out of the bathroom and went straight to the kitchen, holding a kitchen knife and asked coldly, "Where's that Lin Feng?" "Yuna, what are you doing? Lin Feng doesn't know that you are afraid of people mentioning when you eat. Maybe he just wanted to make a joke, so don't fight her with a kitchen knife. Besides, Lin Feng will kung fu, even if you carry a kitchen knife, you may not be able to hurt him, if you really hurt him, it will be more troublesome," Shang Yunjuan said worriedly. Shang Yuna is not only afraid of hearing people mention dog when she is eating, but also afraid to hear dog even when she is not eating. There are many things in this world that are dirtier than dog shit, but in Shang Yuna's heart, dog is the dirtiest. Shit is innocent. Shit often gets shot while lying down. Just now I heard Shang Yunjuan mentioned again, and Shang Yuna was a little sick again, but she didn't spit it out, because she threw up a lot just now. This roast duck was considered a waste. Shang Yuna was in a good mood when she brought the roast duck back, but the roast duck was cheaper for Lin Feng, but she almost died of nausea. The kitchen knife in Shang Yuna's hand shook, and her expression became colder and colder. "Yuna, I'm begging you, please put the kitchen knife back quickly. If you accidentally hurt yourself, you'll lose more than the gain." Shang Yunjuan was about to cry. Shang Yuna was very concerned about Shang Yunjuan's feelings. She put the kitchen knife back, but she also thought about it. If there is a chance, she must bring the kitchen knife to find Lin Feng desperately. Welcome to reading, the latest, fastest and hottest serial works are all in.